Hey, how are you? I'm surprised nobody's in the room already. Nevertheless, we're going to go ahead and get ready to get started. Today, I'm going to be dealing with victims' mentality. This is necessary. Well, I can tell you what motivated me to want to talk about this is because I see it quite a bit. Whenever you're working with people, communing with people, you come to find out that it's relatively common. And not only that, you see what it does to people. And I only wish that people understood how detrimental and demonic that mentality is. I can't make a promise that I'm going to finish this all today. Just so you guys know, I just literally realized within the last 30 minutes, like I've kind of had suspicions today that my air conditioner isn't working. And I think I just got the confirmation that it's not working. I started thinking like maybe it's me. You know how sometimes you may start feeling like, well, maybe I'm just a little bit hot. Maybe it's me and what have you. And I'm like, I ain't had no hot flashes yet. Prayerfully, I haven't, I'm not there yet, but I'm just those type of thoughts going through my head. Maybe it's me, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Nevertheless, it's confirmation when I go upstairs. Thankfully, I have a unit that I purchased and I have it in my bedroom. And it's one of those ones that sits on the floor. I purchased it from Amazon and had it installed last year. So I was able to see that it wasn't me by walking into my bedroom and then walking back out into the hall. And I'm like, it is hot up in here. No, it is hot. It is hot. So I just went and cut it off, the one downstairs, and cut it back on to see maybe if it'll cool. Because I had this problem last year with it. And they came out, and of course, when you're dealing with a rental agency, they're always trying to cut corners or what have you. The guy did something. I don't know what he did. He got it to start blowing again, but I think that they have to come to terms with the fact that this unit has to be replaced. Because when I went and checked just a few minutes ago before I came live, that's how hot it is up in here. 78 degrees. That's why I said, hey, if I'm not able to finish this, forgive it's me because I will be upstairs in my bedroom chilling. I just filled out a service request so that they can get somebody out here. That's neither here nor there. I feel just fine. I got this fan on in here and the dog is cool as well. And I think he knows if he gets hot, he knows where to go. He knows to go upstairs. Okay. I want to deal with this victim's mentality because hello, everybody. I pray all is well. You're way so happy to see you guys. I want to deal with this because I had an incident today at the post office, and I've been actually thinking about it for the last few days. I've been thinking about doing a lesson on the victim's mentality. Let me get this water over here. I've been thinking about doing a lesson on the victim's mentality, but today at the post office, I feel like that was kind of confirmed. Oh, let me move that out the way, Lord. But I think it was kind of confirmed. So what happened at the post office was I went in there and I saw this lady standing, to the side, at the desk at the side. You know how you have the main agents and then you have that person. There's that little space to the side where people go to make special requests or what have you, or if they're doing something in bulk or what have you. So I saw this lady, African American lady. She's wearing this long dress. She has like a kind of a small an afro or what have you. She's standing there. She's an older woman. Looks to be about 50 something. Oh, sorry, this is recording me. Okay. She looked to be about 55 years old, 50 to 55 years old. Nevertheless, as I'm up there and I'm signing all the paperwork, so that because it's almost my turn, I hear her and I hear that she's just really rude to the lady that was trying to help her. The lady that was trying to help her was really nice. She was trying to explain to her. So the complaint that the lady had was that she'd ordered something offline. She'd been in contact with the vendor that she ordered it from. The vendor had given her a tracking number, and she said that it never arrived. So the tracking number says that it was delivered, but it never arrived. So she was up there and she was clowning. She was clowning because she had this belief that her mail lady was against her, that the lady that delivers her mail, or what have you. So now, mind you, just a little bit, nobody lives at the house that it was delivered to, right? She said that nobody. I heard her. I overheard her because I'm standing there. Nobody lives at the house that it was delivered to. It should have been delivered at the other address, but they accidentally sent it to that particular address. That house is abandoned. That house is abandoned. And it says that it was delivered. What have you? And she's like, so It didn't arrive. So the mail lady was trying to explain to her that, okay, one, if it got delivered to an abandoned house, there's a possibility for what? Theft, right? There's a possibility for theft. If people see and they know that's an abandoned house, there's a possibility for theft. But she had a more plausible explanation, which I thought would have been should have been satisfactory. She told the lady, she said she checked the tracking number because the woman had the tracking number. She checked the tracking number and she explained to the woman, like, listen, that tracking number goes to, like, it traces back to a house that has been, like, the address is a fictitious address, like the return address is fictitious. And she said we've been dealing with a lot of scams from that fictitious address. So the lady was like, oh no, she's legit, at least she's legit, I know she's legit. And so the stuff, and the lady's trying to explain to her, basically, one, is not there. Two, it could possibly still be on the mail truck. And she didn't have a way to reach the mail lady. She said she called her. She may be out of her truck or what have you. Three, she's trying to explain to her that, hey, there's been a lot of scams going on. They're at the main quarters or what have you. There's been a lot of scams going on. So it is possible that it's a scam. But this lady has her mind made up. She came in there with one agenda and one agenda only, and that is to humiliate them, to clown, to act the donkey, because she felt like she needed to make a point. She felt like, because when you're dealing with people like that, they feel like, I'm tired of being walked on, I'm tired of being taken advantage of, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of that. So a lot of times they're going to a place, and even though common sense says this lady standing in front of her, she's giving you all the answers that she has, common sense says there's really nothing she could do. File the necessary paperwork and do whatever you got to do. But there's no reason to sit there and act crazy. But no, 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 no. Everybody needed to feel her wrath or what have you. And I was, really humiliated, secondhand embarrassment over there. At the same time, I was frustrated because one thing about me is that I worked in customer service for so many years, and I have a very sensitive heart toward customer service. Like, when I go into a place, I'm always trying to make sure that I never give a customer service agent or anywhere, I don't want to give anybody a hard time. I always want them to have a pleasant experience with me or what have you. So I hate when people go in, because a lot of times they're being used by the devil. I call it out, to give a person a hard time, right? Okay, so she's standing there and she's just like, and the lady's like, ma'am, there's nothing I could do. I can reach back out to them, but like I told you, she's not answering her phone, and there's no telling when I'll get through to her. One, and the lady was like, no, because I've been having problems with her before. It's a lot of stuff that she's supposed to deliver to me that she didn't deliver. And the lady was like, well, the mail carrier she's an exemplary agent. Like, we don't have any problems with her. And she's like, I hear you saying that she is a good agent. She's saying it real sarcastically or what have you. She starts belittling and berating the woman. She starts belittling, and I know some people say, well, you need to pull out your camera. I don't want to ever be one of those type of people. Do me a favor, like and share. On Facebook, I need you to engage. Do me a favor, be sure to like and share. But I never want to be that type of person that, I see drama and I go, so I'm just sitting there, and by this time I get to the desk, so I'm standing not too far from her, and I can hear her, right? I can hear her getting ugly with the woman. And this lady literally says to the woman, because the lady that was helping her had been nothing but friendly. But I hear her say to the woman, she said, no, she said, because you've been rude to me ever since I came. You had your mind made up about me the minute I came up here. And I'm sitting here looking like, maybe I missed something, because I didn't see that. That lady is standing there literally smiling, being friendly. She's trying to give her as much information as possible or what have you. And it gets to the point the lady starts, she's like, no, I'm not being rude. I'm not trying to get an attitude. Like I told you. So it's just too much. It's enough, So finally she was like, the lady said, okay, I'll go get, my manager, what have you. And she was like, go get him, because you haven't tried to help me. She said, you had your mind made up about me. You came over here to start some mess. Right. It's all in her head. That's the victim's mentality. Because when you're dealing with the victim's mentality, you always feel like people are against you for one reason or another, even people who don't know you. I can get it when you come across people that know you and you've had history with them and they've done things like consistently over the course of time. You may be able to develop a belief that, okay, these people don't like me, right? But when you come in contact with random people, if you go out and you think in your mind that those random people that don't know you, if you think that those random people are plotting against you, that is demonic. That is demonic. And before I get into, I'm going to help you to understand. I got 22 things that I'm going to show you whether or not you have a victim's mentality. But I want to say this because I did not write this part down in my notes. One thing about victim's mentality is that it is a sign of mental illness. It also leads to mental illness, and that has to be understood, because there are a lot of people out there right now that actually like being victims. They love it. They love being victims. They love going into places and casting themselves as victims. And trust me when I tell you, there are some of you on here right now, you know that's you. You like being a victim. You like getting the attention that comes from being a victim. And that's one of the things that you want to get rid of, because the enemy is after your mind. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this: I'm not a healthcare professional. I am not licensed or credentialed to give any mental health information, but I do want to say this. I am going to talk spiritually to you. It is not only demonic, but it leads. I'm going to say this. It leads to mental health issues, including paranoia and schizophrenia. It is a sign that you are going. Okay, you guys know I do the drawing of the brain, and I show you. Really, I'm just really dealing with the mind. The mind. There are different zones of the mind that deal with different areas of your life. The enemy. I want you to think of your brain, but then I want you to turn around and think of your brain as land. I want you to think of it as land. I want you to see a picture in your mind of your brain as land. The enemy will get in, demons get in through a door, and they're in that area. So for example, they could be in a financial zone, they could be in a parental zone, they can be in your career zone, they could be pretty much anywhere. So in that little zone that they're in, they typically enter through trauma or voids, right? So while they're in that particular zone, you got to understand that they're not comfortable in that tight space, and the more space they are able to accomplish or to take over, the more demons they can not only let in, but they can begin to control you all the more. Now, when it comes to Christians, Christians can't be possessed by demons. We can be oppressed. So they want to get as close to a demonic possession as possible. How do they do that? They start coming in. Like I said, they may have that little quarter of the mind. They may have like 2% of the mind. But the goal is to move, is to grow, is to expand, right? And they expand typically through imaginations. The Bible says, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing every thought to the obedience of Christ. That is your assignment. The majority of people on the face of this planet do not do that. And I'm not talking about just people, I'm talking about Christians. I'm talking about Christians. I can tell you, as an influencer, as a leader, I can tell you one of the reasons that a lot of us leaders we don't bring a lot of people around us is because the majority of people don't guard their hearts. The Bible says, guard your heart, for out of it pours the issues of life. The majority of people you come in contact with don't guard their hearts. And so when the enemy wants to attack you, he will utilize people with unguarded hearts. If he can't get directly to you, if I got this girl hanging around me, then he will start attacking her mind as it relates to me. So I may be at home, and I may be, you know what, the Lord gave me this really powerful book, and I may be at home starting to type that book. But now I can't really type it because I just got a phone call from some female that just got an attack on her mind. The enemy started telling her, oh, when Tiffany went live on Facebook, she was talking about you. Or that post that Tiffany posted up, that was about you. Or, when Tiffany saw you the other day at work and she passed you by, she was offended with you now because she didn't speak. But what realistically will happen, I didn't see her. Now, this isn't a true story, but this is just an example. I didn't see her. I may have been in the zone. I may have been working on something or what have you, but I didn't see her. And rather than, reaching out and saying, hey, girl, we good? Or, not even doing that. Sometimes you can just reach out to a person and say, hey, send a happy face. And you'll find out if they're mad, because if they're mad, they're probably not going to respond. But if they're not mad, they'll probably respond and say, hey, girl, love you. And then you realize that there's nothing going on. But demons love to attack people's mind. If they can't get to you, they will get to the people around you who have unguarded hearts. As a matter of fact, I told you guys the definition of a demonic siege. The siege back in the Bible days is when an enemy military surrounded a kingdom, right? And what it was designed to do is cause a drought and a famine in that kingdom. So the people could not leave that space to go out and trade. So modern day demonic siege just look like this. It's just simply the enemy surrounding you with the wrong people. Now, when he surrounds you with the wrong people, those people, because God says, guard your heart, for out of it pours the issues of life. You may be guarding your heart, but they're not guarding theirs. Y'all catch it? You may be guarding your heart, but they're not guarding theirs. So now, because they're not guarding their hearts, they're dealing with a bunch of demonic thoughts. And catch this, demonic thoughts make sense. You got to understand that the devil ain't going to give you no crazy thoughts. He's going to give you thoughts that make sense. He's going to give you thoughts where you can add 1 + 1 together and get 2. You can time 2 times 2 = 4. You can add 14 + 8 and get 22. You can start putting stuff together and it will make sense to you. It will make sense to you. So that female, she could be sitting up there. If I allow her in my life, in my intimate circle, all of a sudden she starts getting bombarded with demonic thoughts, ungodly thoughts, or what have you. Because her heart isn't guarded, but I've given her access to my heart, then the enemy gets to me through her. Catch that. The enemy can get to me through her. So now she calls me up when I'm in a sensitive moment. I'm in prayer or something's going on. She calls me up with a bunch of foolishness. And I'm like, girl, that wasn't even me. If you were my sister, you were supposed to thought that stuff, right? When you had a negative thought about me, when you have a negative thought about the people, your covenant relationships, you're supposed to fight that. You're supposed to begin to pray, saying, you are a liar. I bind every spirit of division that will come this way, spirit of offense, go to the abyss in the name of Jesus Christ. You're supposed to fight that, because what you're doing is you're guarding your covenant relationships. You're guarding the people, because catch this, sometimes it ain't about you. Sometimes the attack ain't about you. Sometimes the attack is about the people closest to you. This is why pastors get the brunt of it, because sometimes when the pastors, a lot of times they have people around them and people go through mental warfare. Jesus, I don't feel like going through this right now. Milo. I would say free to go home, but I love them. But sometimes when you're dealing with pastors, they got to deal with the brunt of it, because when they go and they stand on the stage, then what happens is they start preaching. Let's say they start preaching against witchcraft. Then people with witchcraft spirits, those spirits are going to get upset. Those spirits and so those spirits start saying, he preaching about you. That was about you. He passed by you. He didn't even speak. He mad at you. So those spirits go to attacking that person's mind. Now imagine you got 10 people who are under that attack, and not one of them guarding their hearts. Do you see how a pastor can get bombarded with emails and text messages in one day? That is a demonic attack, because whenever the enemy is not able to get to you, he will get to you through the people around you. And the thing about it is, people who are the most bound are the ones who are adamant about being the closest to you. They're adamant, and then they get close, and the first thing they do is start dealing with the mental warfare. This is why I tell you, listen, if you want to be close to leaders and stuff like that, make sure that you are guarding your heart so that you don't end up becoming a weapon used by the enemy, because the enemy is going to say, who's closest to them? She's about to preach at a conference. Who's closest to her? Because she's about to come against the kingdom of darkness. Listen, the demons, they already reported. She's already talking about doing a mass deliverance. She's talking about doing this. Who's closest to her? Who's closest to her? You got to understand that the kingdom of hell is just that strategic. Who's closest to her? And they will attack. So again, going into the post office, I'm looking at this lady, and I turn and look at my agent, that one that I started working with, because I can see, she's kind of frustrated, and it's coming off like she got an attitude. She was like, yeah, okay, sign it. I'm like, I think I need to get a money order for this. She was like, I said, how much would I need? She said, I don't know. I said, okay. And I said, I think I need this much, so we could just write that money order for this much. She was like, okay. So she's doing it. And she's doing it up there, and I could tell she's frustrated. And this is the grace on my life, because I always want people to smile. And I looked at her and I said, I'm so sorry you guys have to go through that kind of stuff. And she said, thank you. She said, I can't help but to eavesdrop. I said, yeah, I can't help but to hear as well. And I said, I'm sorry you guys have. I said, because it's not anything that lady at the desk can do. The lady was really saying that the mail lady was like strategically, like she was intentionally trying to hold her mail. Granted, that can happen, and it may happen in a small percent of cases. It's very rare. Most of the times that's in a person's head. When you're working with the general public, that's in that person's head because they're ordering stuff and they're not getting it in time because maybe they don't have the most legible handwriting. There are a factor of different things that could be going wrong. And a lady was trying to explain to her that if the carrier may have returned it to the sender, and she was like, but why would she do that? Why? And the lady said that the tracking number, when I look it up, it traces back to an address that's when it's a fictitious address that people have been using for scams. She was like, well, I know it's not a scam. She was determined to flip the post office inside out. She knew she wasn't going to come to the post office and pick up that package. She knew she wasn't going to she came to the post office with the intent of getting revenge. Come to the post office with the intent of flipping that place inside out and humiliating everybody that she could. And so this is what happens. And people like that, what ends up happening over the course of time, they become more and more demonic, which causes them to become even more isolated because it's hard for them to explain to people what's going on in their head. Because those type of people, when they come out, they talk normal, but if you get close enough to them, then you start realizing that they're not healthy in their head, because then they start talking about aliens and CIA agents and stuff like that. You get close enough to them and they start telling you it's a lot of stuff going on with the media, but I ain't gonna mess you up with that. It's a lot of stuff that people don't know or what have you, because you can have a deep revelatory conversation, and then the next thing you know, you start going off into the deep with them, and you're like, where we heading? Because they start talking about, they talking about demons, girl. I think they aliens, and you're like, oh, okay. Girl, yeah, I don't believe that that's the real President Biden. I believe the real President Biden was abducted by aliens. And then they're going to look at you to see if you, like, are you looking crazy? Because they want to know when to pull out. I think the real President Biden was, he was picked up by aliens. And I think that's a skinwalker. It's an alien. Oh, wow. Gosh. Yeah, and he's programmed. They got him pre-programmed to say, like, he's programmed to start a lot of wars and stuff like that. But the real President Biden, girl, he been dead. He been dead. And then you think, okay, well, maybe she's a little bit normal. Maybe she bit off the wrong fruit, right? It's okay. It doesn't mean that she's crazy. Let her keep talking. Girl. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't believe that Kobe Bryant died either. I think that, there were people trying to kill him, and they got him stored in a special facility out of space with Tupac and Biggie and Prince, Whitney Houston, all them out there, Michael Jackson. They in outer space. Why you think they be going out of space? And I hate to say that because there's somebody on here that's mind ain't healthy enough, and they like, oh, that makes sense. Why you think, girl, they got a place on the moon for them? Why you think Michael Jackson on the moonwalk? He was on the moon for real, girl, and they kept bringing him back or what have you. They keep bringing him back, and after they let you into the crazy, that's it. You got to disconnect, because from that point on, every time they see you, they're gonna have some more stuff. Girl, I got something else for you. Oh no. What happened? I don't believe France exists. The country? You got to follow me on this. You got to follow me, because I know it don't make sense, but you got to follow me on this. I think France is really a portal to hell. Honestly, I don't want to tell you this, but I think Armageddon, all that, it's already happened. The rapture already took place. We in hell right now, girl. Oh, we got left behind. What happened to their mind? It started off with an evil thought that they didn't cast down. It's a portal, right? A portal to hell. It starts off with an evil thought that they don't address. It starts off with that little piece, that little bitty soldier that enters that brain, that land, that one little thought. And whatever you don't cast down has to be cast out. It's just that one little thought the enemy says, blows into their mind. And then they meditate on it. Instead of having the word and meditating on the word, they meditate on it. And then it continues, and then they get another thought. And you know what happens is sometimes rejection makes you want to be smart. So you want to have revelation that nobody else has. So now I got some deep stuff, girl. I got some real deep stuff. So I went and picked up me some eyeglasses today. I actually did, guys. I actually went and picked up, these are prescription eyeglasses. I had them, you can see how thick they are. I had them redone because the bottom of them, I paid $150 for them to fix them again because the bottom of it was too thick. But I'm just showing you. They be like, girl, and I can't see because I got contacts on. I can't see because I got contacts and these are medicated. Girl, you want to know something? I put on my glasses and I think I can see in the portals. What happened? Things get real clear when I put on eyeglasses. See? It's a bug they put in your body that make you can't see. And then when I put on the eyeglasses, it's their way of getting money from me, but it allows me to see in the portals. Brother Andre, thank you. God bless you. It allows me to see in the portals. Sister Tanya, God bless you. Thank you. And ain't nothing you can do once they open up that vein and start talking to you. And listen, let me tell you, one of the ways that you know a person had, and listen, if you happen to be battling this in your mind, I'm not making fun of you, please get help. Please get help, because people who have schizophrenia or who have mind issues usually don't think there's anything wrong with them. But if you think the CIA is after you, the FBI is after you, your phone is tapped, that is a sign that your mind is not healthy. You're not that important. And I'm not saying you are important to God, but you're not important to the CIA, or you're not important because you're not having any top ranking, unless you're having a bunch of conversations with a former agent or somebody that hacked into their system. You're not. This is why the Bible says, think no higher of yourself than you ought to. It sets the stage for mental health issues. I am telling you the truth. I told you guys this before. Some of the people that I've noticed who have mental health issues the most typically are very selfish. That if you don't understand, this is why isolation is so dangerous, because it locks you in a room, or it locks you into a reality with nobody but yourself. It is a dangerous thing to be isolated. It is a danger because you're locked in with your own voice. You're locked in hearing the same old stuff. You got to get out and hear other voices. You got to get out and be around other people. Because when you become incredibly self-centered, another word for that is you're looking for self-worship. You start worshiping yourself. And then you start expecting others to worship you. When I come in contact with people who say, me, I think they after me. I left this church because I feel like they after me. I'm going to this church now. I'm leaving there because I feel like they after me. I feel like this. I feel like that. Me, girl, when I went to the store, it was this man watching me, and I kind of feel like he was following me around. Okay, it can happen, right? Sometimes you can come in contact with somebody. But when you start seeing like there's a pattern of stories, like, okay, wait, hold up. You said that there was an old white midget in traffic with one eye, and he was following you after you left the store. And there was this big black dude with a half of a fade and weave hanging down on the other side that followed you around the supermarket. You got in, now you got the midget following you with one eye in traffic, and you step on the gas, dude, go sit down. And now you said you stepped on the gas, right? And you managed to lose him in traffic. You managed to lose him, and now when you pulled into the driveway, you notice a white Chevy passing your house, and it was a drag queen on the inside. And the way you know it was a drag queen, because he had a whole Adam's apple, and he looked over there at you, and yeah. So now you think it's a conspiracy. That is schizophrenia. I'm saying it because it's common and it's undiagnosed. I can't tell you the number of people I've spoken with. And when you're talking to people like that, because they are intelligent, because they do have education, it's hard to get them to understand that, baby, your mind ain't healthy. It started with a crazy thought. It started with a crazy thought. Some of the most dramatic deliverances I've ever done have been with people who were completely messed up. And typically these are people who've done a lot of wrong to other folk. They done a lot of wrong to other folk. And now they walking around and they think that everybody after them. They think that everybody after them. They walk into the store and when they stand beside you in line, they think that you plotting on them. Because you know what? You sitting up there, you putting your stuff all organized in a basket. And they just like, I know she humming that song because she don't like me. I know that song. It ain't a song. I'm just do 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 do. But in their mind, you're trying to bother them. In their mind, you are harassing them. In their mind. And this is why you may find, sometimes people can be standing behind you and all of a sudden they start, you can pick up that negative. They start doing stuff and you just like, let me just get checked out here. Let me get myself checked out. Let me check out or what have you, because you're dealing with somebody who's dealing with an unguarded heart and the enemy is having a field day with their mind. So let's talk about the characteristics of victim's mentality. The characteristics of victim's mentality. Number one, you believe that God is not fair. You believe that he hates, dislikes you, or he simply doesn't care about you. You think that God, as you look at other people and you think, and sometimes you may even deal with jealousy or comparison as it relates to other people. You feel like God is unfair. He's always been unfair. Look at her. She's really pretty. She's got a snatch waistline. She can eat whatever she want to eat and nothing happens to her. She got favor with the men. She drive a nice car. All of that. She's favored. And you think that God is mad at you, doesn't like you. You got to take into account that God is the master. Therefore, you are a master's piece. So God doesn't look at her and says, oh, she's prettier than you. He doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. He created both of you in love. It's just that you went through a demonic attack in your mind and you lowered your self-worth, your self-esteem, your self-perception because of something you heard, because of the people that were surrounding you. But again, you believe that God is not fair and that he doesn't care about you. He favors others above you. And that can lead you to become suicidal, because in that you start feeling like God's not fair, God doesn't care, and God, there's no sense in me being on earth. As a matter of fact, it can lead you to disliking and even hating God. It can lead you to disliking and even hating God. You start feeling like God is, he doesn't care, he's against you, what have you. And some of the most difficult deliverance cases usually are situations where people have come to believe that God is against them and God is angry with them. Number two, you feel like a spotlight shines on you the minute you enter into a communal space. You feel like when you walk into a store, you walk into a church, you walk onto a job, you feel like people are looking at you. You feel like people are looking at you. You feel like, they notice you or what have you. You feel like there's some type of spotlight on you and they notice you or what have you. So typically you're trying to be undercover, unseen, because you feel like the spotlight hits you. You almost, maybe, if you happen to be spiritual, you probably feel like there's an aura or there's a light around you and that everybody around has demons in them and they can see your light. And so because when you walk into a space, and so you feel like you got to kind of lower your head or what have you because you're trying not to get attention, that is a sign of demonic bondage. That is a sign of a victim's mentality. It is a sign of that you have a growing case of schizophrenia. That means that if you don't get it checked right now, that it can potentially grow into schizophrenia. Number three, you're always trying to hide or avoid being noticed. And this is for the introverted ones, because I got one for the extroverts as well. You are always trying to hide or avoid being noticed because you feel like as soon as people see you, your anointing's out there for everybody to see, and you're going to get snatched and what have you. And if you get snatched, then you're going to get attacked. You're always trying to hide or avoid being noticed. Now, this is what number four is for the extroverts. You're always trying to be seen. You hate merging into a crowd or flushing into a crowd. That's the extroverted ones. You hate flushing into a crowd. I can tell, for example, if you join ESSA Prep University, which I think you should, make sure you join ESSA Prep. If you come into my mentorship program and the first thing that you do is start trying to make yourself seen, the first thing that you do is you start going against the rules or what have you, then typically it's a sign that you have a victim's mentality. And you feel like, hey, I got a unique story. Because what it does is it makes you disregard everybody else. It makes you disregard their testimonies, their stories. It makes you disregard everybody else because you feel like your story, your trauma is far worse than theirs. And you, in a sense, feel like you're more important than them. You, in a sense, and you can always tell that mentality because the person typically comes in, doesn't want to follow rules, don't want to do anything because they feel like I need a conversation. I need somebody to hear me out. I need you to hear what I've gone through as a person. I need you, and I gotta say this. This is why, and I don't have this in my notes, but it's important for me to say. That's why when you start dealing with that, when you start dealing with victim's mentality, it is a form of narcissism. That's what it does, is it makes you relatively narcissistic. And the more the demons or more spirits get your mind, the more narcissistic you become. And the thing that's so deceptive about it is because a lot of people who suffer from this are very intelligent. They are really intelligent. They made straight A's in school. They can go out and get a PhD, an MD. They can go get all those other things. Nevertheless, their mind is not healthy. Now, when it comes to academics, they are great. But when it comes to socialization, they are horrible. When it comes to socialization, they are horrible because when they come into a space, they don't like fitting into the crowd because in their mind, they genuinely feel, and they will never admit this, they genuinely feel that they are better than everybody else, that they are greater than the people in that. Oh, I can't believe I got put into this with all these regular folk. These girls here, I am higher than this. You hear me? I've accomplished this. I got a whole associate's degree in toenail clipping. I am better than this. You mean to tell me you're gonna put me in here with all these normal folk? That girl didn't even go to college. That girl dropped out of school. You're gonna put me in the midst of all these normal folk? That's why anytime I can tell when a person comes in with that mentality, they won't stay long because in their mind they don't feel like they fit. They feel like they're supposed to be around more important people. They feel like, it should be a social club for social butterflies who have accomplished a lot of things. And so it should be replete with doctors and lawyers and insurance agents and people who are important because they don't like getting into because they're so afraid of their of looking inferior. They want to seem to be important. They want to feel important and they don't like. And anytime I've had people come in like that, I already know if they register for a quarter, they're not coming back to second quarter. You can always tell because they won't follow rules, they won't merge into the community, they won't integrate or talk to their other sisters because they're pretty much like, I can't believe that I'm here. Oh gosh, where's do we have a section for the important people? Okay. I got a whole YouTube channel and you cannot put me out here like that. That's narcissism. That's narcissism. At the end of the day, when God wants to use you, the higher He takes you, the more you take yourself down. Because that's how you ascend in Christ. This is how you ascend in the kingdom. Everything is reversed. In the kingdom, you go up by going down. That means dying to yourself, reverencing God all the more. You go up by going down. You don't go up by being around a bunch of important people. Everybody around you ain't got to be super important. They ain't got to be super like this. That's narcissism. No, I would much rather come up incognito and just sit there and praise God and let Him take me up because He'll do it and add no sorrow to it. And I don't have to hurt people to get there. I don't have to hurt people to get there. No, Tiffany, I understand what you're saying. When I came into your program, I was expecting some very astute women. And wow, there are some really educated and smart women here that have done great things. But can you put them like in a group to themselves? Because I don't feel like we should be kind of tossed into the pool with everybody else. I don't feel like we should be tossed into the pool with everybody else because I have a degree in oiling scabs. I get the best greases, the best oils extracted from coconuts in Africa, right? And they extract the oils from it by beating the coconut on top of fire. And I get the best oils and I am graced to grease scabs. That is a spirit. It is narcissism. at its core. It is not a healthy mind. You should never be in a space where you are exalting yourself amongst other people. I don't care where I go. If I'm in a crowd with you, I am no more important than you. God loves you just like he loved me. Hey, sis, how are you? How's girl, what's up? How are you? Because you never know who you standing beside. You never know that person that you standing beside who wash toilets for a living may be the next Catherine Coleman. You don't know that. You don't know who you standing next to. And you get so caught up in that. Well, I don't mind. I mean, if you give me a position where I can rule over these inferior peasants, that's narcissism. All right. You're always trying to hide or avoid being noticed. There's the introverted one, the extroverted one. You're always trying to be seen. You hate being flushed into a crowd. You hate not being seen. You hate, oh gosh, I feel like this is not what I was looking for. I don't want to flush into a crowd. I want to be seen. I want my story to be heard. I need you to notice me. I need you to affirm me. I need you to tell me about my anointing. That is demonic. Even if you go into a church, any environment you go into, the Bible says it this way. If you go into a place, and I'm trying to see, I'm going to paraphrase it, don't go to the front. Go into the back and then let them call you to the front instead of you being humiliated and sitting yourself in an important seat. And then they come back and they say, hey, move back there because they put somebody more important to you in that seat. In other words, don't exalt yourself. Don't think of yourself any higher than you ought to. Don't exalt yourself. Number 5, you're easily offended. That means you're sensitive. That means you are a walking open wound. You're easily offended. People walk on eggshells around you. They are afraid. They're afraid of offending you. They're afraid of saying the wrong thing. They send you excessive happy faces in their text messages to you. Easily offended. Easily offended. Number 6, when someone points out that you're wrong about something, you either lie about it, point out something they've done wrong, or you shut down altogether, vowing inwardly to never show your face at that place again. In other words, you don't like to be pointed out. Like if you say something and somebody says that's actually not correct, that triggers you. It triggers you. It really bothers you. Rather than you sit up there saying, okay, well, I didn't know that. It's so simple to be like, well, you taught me a lesson today. You taught me something. But instead, you take that internally and it becomes a whole offensive situation. Number 6. Well, I put number 6 twice. So this should be number 7. Let me number this stuff right. 7, 8, 9. Okay. You believe that everyone should be sensitive to your situation. And I've come across people like this, and this is typically what victims mentality does. And I gotta offend you. I gotta go here again. Anytime I teach this, I always have 1 or 2 people who get offended. But I'm not anointed to care about offense. I'm not anointed to submit to the spirit of offense. I'm not designed that way. I'm designed to speak the truth, and the truth shall set you free. But part of victims mentality is getting into the welfare system and not coming out. It's a generational curse. The welfare system, the system within itself, is Jezebelic. It is a system of control. Jezebel is a spirit, but Jezebel also has systems. And the thing about it is, if you want to be an Ahab and you don't want to put work in, you don't want to deal with the pressure of a 9 to 5. You don't want to deal with the pressure of having to deal with people. Oh my gosh. And you are willing to let the system say, okay, we'll give you a little bit of money. We may even give you a house and pay this much money. Your rent $22 a month. Just go live over there in a bad neighborhood. Go live over there where your children can get shot up. Go live over there. It's Jezebelic. You are allowing yourself to be controlled simply because you don't want to deal with the hard work of going out here and dealing with people. It's Jezebelic. So you believe that everyone should be sensitive to your situation. When I come across people like that, I remember having an old friend and having to really rebuke her because it's all she kept talking about was my situation, my situation. And I said, girl, do you know people can't be a slave to your situation? Girl, she asked me for rent, but she wasn't even considering my situation. If you living in somebody's house, they got to charge you rent. You don't get to live somewhere for free. You don't get to do that to people. As a matter of fact, One thing, if you ever want to break the curse of poverty, I'll give you the recipe right here. It starts with an H. Honor. It starts with an H. If you ever want to step into the realm of prosperity, honor the crap out of people. Oh my gosh. Everywhere you go, oh my gosh, it opens the door for you to pick up wisdom. Honor. That means if I come live in a person's house, even if I'm making $7 an hour and I can barely make it, and I'm trying to save up money to get my own place, how can I honor you in this space? I'm not gonna come live in your house and think that I don't owe you nothing because of my situation. No. If you say, hey, Tiffany, no, keep your money because I need you to save your money up. Okay. One part of me honoring you is me actually putting my money aside because you can't go out there and be buying everything that you want. And now you got to live in that person's house a little bit longer. And secondly, if I'm not paying rent, babe, I'm helping. What can you? I'm gonna babysit the kids. I'm cooking. I'm cleaning. What do you need me to do? I will go cut the grass with the scissors. But I'm going to show gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude of favor. And anytime I've ever come across entitled people, they always need major deliverance. Because they walk around and they see themselves as a victim and they feel like everybody needs to be subject to their situation. Well, girl, I'm not working and I haven't been working for a long time. And, she gonna have the nerves to ask me to pay my portion of the rent. She wasn't even considering my situation. Get out of that thinking. It's that thinking that will keep you in that situation. It's that thinking that will keep you in that situation. Oh, I felt it. Like and share. You know what? I'm hitting some of you, and I gotta hit you. That way you get free. See, I want you to see this as a sword cutting that thing, that membrane off of you that holds you in that Jezebelic mentality. I'm cutting that membrane, and you get the opportunity. God is giving you a way of escape right now. You're getting this way of escape to come out of that thinking, to come out of that mentality, to come out of this thinking, well, you don't know my situation. You don't know what happened to me. Why do you think we always blocking off the borders and trying to send back people to their country? Because they got situations far more detrimental than ours, and they still come over here and they still work their tails off, and they still don't walk around acting like the victim. It's over here in the United States of America that we got this narcissistic belief that if I ended up getting bit by a mosquito, that I should have an entourage. You don't know what happened to me. And when people come to me like that, I'm like, okay, finish telling your story. I can guarantee you I can up you, baby, because I done been through hell and back. I done been through some stuff. You hear me? So I've rarely met people. You heard me say this before. I rarely met people who've been through more than me. But I bless the name of the Lord for bringing me through. But I'm out here in these streets acting like a victim. You don't know what that man did to me. It don't make any sense. No, I take accountability. I take accountability so that I can get to the next level. I'm not going to let something that somebody did to me hold me back. That's how you let the devil win. The devil is a cockeyed lie. No, if something goes down with me and I get hurt, you can bet your by golly wow, I'm on that floor praying for that person. You can bet your by golly wow, I'm asking Lord to help me to forgive that person. You can bet your by golly wow, I'm on that floor and I'm talking to the Lord and I'm saying, Lord, show me where I went wrong. You know why? Because when I get back up, I never want to go through that again. I'm not going to get up and play the victim. Sometimes the people that are jealous of you will hurt you and turn you into a victim because spiritually speaking, they understand that if they can turn you into a victim, you will never go past them. I just said a whole lot. It may take you a minute to marinate on that. Sometimes demons use people to hurt you. That way, demons can keep you locked in a realm. Okay. You believe that everyone should be sensitive to your situation. Meaning you go out to eat, just another example, you go out to eat and you think, oh, the person that's sitting across from me has a lot of money. And, it's been kind of hard for me lately. Sister Chelsea, God bless you. Thank you, sis. It's been kind of hard for me lately. So they should pay for the tab. Victim's mentality. No. I tell this story, and I think I wrote about it in my book, Relational Acuity. I told this story about when I first came to Georgia. I ended up going out to eat, with a millionaire. I'm not gonna say his name. End up going out to eat with a millionaire. I didn't have a church home at the time or what have you. But he had gotten word that I, was publishing books or what have you. He wanted to talk to me about possibly publishing his book. So he set up a meeting with me, told me what restaurant. We get to the restaurant. Now, mind you, I was in the middle of a demonic attack. I've said that before. Financially, my money went under a major attack. I had like $2,000 left in my bank account, and my bills cost $2,000. My business had slowed down. Everything was going all right. But listen, I'm sitting across from this man at this expensive restaurant. I'm sitting across from him. I look at the menu. Everything like $60. True. But you know what? I made it up in my mind. This is a man of God. This is an anointed man of God. I bet you I don't sit here and try to make him pay for the bill just because of my situation. No, I sat there and I had it in my mind when the waitress come, because we hadn't discussed it. When the waitress come, I'm going to take the bill. I had it in my head, regardless of my situation. And sure enough, when the waitress came, she was like, "Is there going to be one ticket and two?" Both of us said one at the same time, and he was like, "I'll get it." And I was like, "I can get it." He was like, "No." He said, I get it. I got it." And I knew right then and there, don't press it, because you don't try to impress him by pressing it. No, I insist, because then you can annoy him. So I was like, okay. I didn't press it. I let him pay for it or what have you. But I'm saying that to say, don't ever in your mind measure your situation with another person's situation and determine that they're in a better situation. Therefore, they need to pay for everything, that they need to pay for them. Don't you ever think like that. If you find a person that's in a better situation than you, honor the crap out of them. Because what you're trying to do, if you want to get access to the reality that they're in, honor that reality. Honor it. Don't go up there and be like, Carol, don't do that. I know you got it like that. Don't do this. Don't be in a store. I really, oh my gosh, girl. I always wanted that type of perfume. You smell it? Oh, wait, how much is it? $369. Oh, I would love something like. Don't do that. Don't do that. If the person wants to bless you, let them bless you. But don't do that. Because it's manipulation. And when people pick up manipulation, I can tell you, I pick up manipulation. I ain't doing jack. I'm just going to love this show. Do smell good, don't it? And at the same time, I ain't finna buy no $369 perfume for a broke person. What's the point of that? Why would you want $400, darn near $400 worth of perfume when you broke? Because it's a mentality. It's a mentality. All right, where was I? Number 8, you blame others for the condition of your life. This is evidence that you have a victim's mentality. You blame others for the condition of your life. The only reason that, I'm like this right here, the stuff that happened to me because what my mama did to me and what my daddy did to me. My daddy wasn't there, my mama was a thought, and it was just a whole hot mess out in these streets. And I ended up being raised with some crazy siblings, and the neighbors across the street, they had a dog. They kept chasing me back in the house with them crazy folks. Even I tried to go outside to escape the craziness. Then there's this dog across the street. What type? It was a Chihuahua, but he kept chasing me back up in the house or what have you. So I couldn't really go nowhere. So what I started doing was, when I was in the house, I would lock myself in the bathroom, right? But then the bathroom toilet didn't flush, and my dad used to have that mad diarrhea or what have you. So my stepdad, one of my mama's, guys, he would have this mean diarrhea, and so I'd be locked up in there, and them fumes did some damage to me. I'm trying to tell you the truth. At some point, you got to get beyond that. At some point, you got to get past that. At some point, you got to stop using your childhood. You got to stop using your childhood to justify where you are right now. If you went through some stuff in your childhood, there are therapists available to help you to get through it right now. If you're not willing to invest, spare me that. I can't afford a therapist. They expensive out in these streets. What's that you getting, girl? Oh, it's this wig. These bundles. How much is it? $350. So you're gonna pay $350 for some bundles, and you're gonna pay what? I don't know how much, $200 for somebody to install those bundles, $500 for the top of your head, but you want to put a penny in your head. So you want to be cute and crazy. You want to come walking out the door, and you want to get the guys in. But as soon as they get in, they got to deal with that craziness, and then they're going to run, and you right back to being a victim. I don't know what it is, girl. I think, a lot of these guys, they so shallow, it don't make no sense. What happened, girl? Well, I messed up and took my wig off in front of him because he told me he didn't mind. And I don't think he really mind, but it was the fact that he saw that the baby hairs went with it. And so he thought I had good hair. And now he realized I didn't have good hair, so he left. Girl, that man didn't leave you because you didn't have baby hair. He left you because you crazy. He didn't leave you because the baby hairs went with the wig. He left you because your brain wasn't right. He left you because he had a couple of conversations with you, and he started realizing that you went all the way. You went all the way there. The lights were on, but nobody was home. That's why he left. I know you think that, Tiffany, and I know you think that way about me, but girl, no, that ain't it. He left me because it wasn't real baby hair. Because he told me the last girl he dated had some really good hair. So he just one of them African American men that just want somebody with good hair. He want the European features and everything. Girl, that man didn't leave you for that reason. You blame others for the condition of your life. It's always somebody else's fault. You in a bad situation, girl. Your lights got cut off. Your water got cut off. Now you and your kids in the house sweating. What happened? They stupid daddy. Oh, okay. So you got they daddies. You got 3 kids. Okay. How many daddies we talking about? 2. Okay. So how is it their fault? They ain't helping me with these kids. Stop it. Baby girl, stop it. At the end of the day, you got to take the responsibility to take care of them. If you living in the slums, it's not because they're not helping you with the kids. It's because you chose to live there and you were looking for them to help you to escape. Stop that. That annoys the crap out of me to see a woman leave her child in a bad situation. Let her children be sitting in the house eating corn dogs every day or eating noodles every single day. And because mommy don't want to go to college. Mama don't want to do nothing with her life, but she thought the men that she slept with was going to be a ticket out of the ghetto, but they weren't. So rather than taking accountability, she say, it's their fault. It's their fault. You were living there before you even had kids. But I was planning to go to college. You can still go. But I ain't got no help with these kids. There are programs that will help you. You ever come across a person that got 1,000 excuses, and no matter what you tell them, they got another excuse? Don't even waste your breath with them because they are determined to be victims. They are determined to be victims. All right. You blame others for the condition of your life. Number 9, you have a negative attitude about everything. You have a negative attitude about everything. The waitress bought your food out, you got a negative attitude about that. You go to church, the pastor preach, you got a negative attitude about that, girl. I just feel like, when he was preaching, he just, I feel like he kept looking at me. He was probably just on the stage just navigating. No, I feel like he was looking at me and that's all. So no, sorry, I'm scratching these numbers out and renumbering it because I had them numbered wrong. I feel like, and then when I went into the church, the door greeter, I feel like she kept looking at me and she kept saying something to me. And I kept saying, huh? And she was like, not you. But I'm like, girl, you is talking to me. We're like, is it possible? Is it possible that maybe the door greeter was cockeyed? I don't care. She was looking at me with one of them eyes. I knew she was talking about me. That's how I be everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, people always doing that to me. It's just a hard thing to be this pretty. It's a mental health issue. It's not healthy. It's not a healthy mind to walk around and think that people are after you for no reason. Or to think that because you walked into a place and you got good hair, or you're pretty, or you're not so pretty, that people are plotting on you. Or they made it up in there. They always judge me everywhere. I can't even walk into a place, girl. My gosh. That's not healthy. It's not healthy. Number 10, you think that everyone is against you. You think that everyone is against you. And then we're going to move past that because I feel like we've already been dealing with that. You think that everyone is against you. You kind of go into a spot and it's like, oh my gosh. And one of the things that you can easily do, and I think this is one of the precursors to schizophrenia, is that you can create negative spaces. Like you can go into a space and what you end up doing is you can have a negative way about you, which causes people to respond negatively. And then I've seen this happen. I've seen women that walk into spaces like this. You're like, hey, They don't speak. They are just rude. I'm just completely rude everywhere they go. And the first thing they say, the people here don't like me. Wait, what? Girl. It's like that everywhere I go. Victims mentality. Walk into a space, you're like, hey. And they kiss up behind everybody they feel like is important. Hey, how you doing? And everybody else, they just do this. And then when they get behind the scenes with the people that's important. Girl, it's okay. It could be just jealousy, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even feel like I'm that important for people to be jealous of me. Girl, nobody jealous of you. You rude. You rude. Now, if you come into a space and you're like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? And everybody doing that. Yeah, okay. But if you're not speaking and you walking into spaces and you go into a space, everybody sitting down and you come up there, cross your legs and get your phone and just go straight into this right here. You ain't said nothing to nobody. Everybody else is sitting up there having a conversation and you like this. When they call your name, you're like, it's narcissism. You're not a victim, but you got it in your mind that you are. Number 11, you hate accountability. You hate accountability. You don't like nobody. You don't want to ask nobody for nothing. Gary, I don't feel like this whole thing about having people to be accountable to. That is that charismatic church. That's that you don't like no accountability. That's why you're a professional victim. Because you don't have anybody to give you language for what you've gone through. You don't have anybody to correct you. You won't allow anybody to correct you. You won't allow anybody to correct you. So you think that everyone is against you and you hate accountability. You don't like the idea because you feel like whoever you're accountable to, they're gonna be jealous of you and they're not gonna give you the best advice. I can't just have. I tried the accountability thing before, girl, and that lady tried to sabotage me. Okay, realistically speaking, we come in contact with people who wrestle with jealousy over the course of our lives. It happens. It is what it is. Pull yourself out that situation, pick yourself back up, and find somebody else. Right, righteous correction. Correction is a blessing. It is a blessing. It will keep you from losing your mind. That's why the Bible says there's safety in a multitude of counselors. That means it's dangerous to be without wise counsel. The Bible says there's safety in a multitude of counselors. Again, it means that there is danger outside of wise counsel. It's dangerous to be outside, to have somebody, for you to walk around with your own thoughts and nobody to correct those thoughts. There's a way that seems right to a man, but the end thereof is death. You will have it in your brain that you're right. And you can be 3 shades of wrong. I've been there before. I've had it in my mind that I was 100% right. But thankfully, wise counsel helped me to see, girl, you were wrong. You were wrong. You hate accountability. Number 12, you're always looking for validation from others. If you don't get validation fast enough, you out. If you don't get affirmation or validation fast enough, you're gonna bounce. You're gonna bounce. And let me say this. Sometimes, whenever I've seen this particular spirit in the movement, sometimes people like that, what they'll do is they'll go into a space and they just kind of sit there. And they always kind of rebel against the crowd. They if the crowd's sitting to the left, they're gonna sit to the right. They always want to kind of stand out, or what have you. And if they're not noticed, if they're not affirmed, if they are not given any type of spotlight fast enough, they will walk out and they will call themselves. They would claim that they have been victimized. They would claim that they have been victimized. That is a demonic mentality. Number 14, y'all ready? You focus on your intentions. This makes it difficult for you to take accountability. I told you, it's one of the things that you will find women, we have it bad. We have it bad because a lot of times we get caught up on our intentions. I say this, for example, when you start talking about relationships, and I've given this example before, a woman will go up to her husband and she'll start thinking about all these things. Now, she knows that the conversation is going to start an argument. They've had the conversation before. He thought it was she went into the backyard, dug it back up or what have you. And now she didn't drag the course of the situation back up and into the guy because she was dealing with thoughts. That's why you want, in your single season, you want to master casting down thoughts. You want to make sure this is one of the ways that you are a blessing to a person is that you master casting down thoughts, imaginations, and what have you. Well, A woman a lot of times will have an intention of showing the man that he's wrong and she's right. Tell me I'm lying. Because she's trying to get him, she's trying to show him that my voice is credible. And it's not that he doesn't make her feel like her voice is important. This has everything to do with her childhood wounds. It's just that she feels like I need to say this. You need to tell me that I'm right and you're wrong. And it could have ended with both of you coming to a mutual understanding that okay, both of us neither wrong nor right. It is what it is. We got a difference of opinion, and this is the way that we should deal with this issue. But situation. But she will go into the backyard, dig that situation back up, and drag the corpse of that situation back up in there with the intention. She can have good intentions because she feels like if he says I'm right, we'll have a better marriage. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it out loud. One of the most irritating things I see when I see it on TikTok, when I see it on media, is this mentality: happy wife, happy life. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's so witchy. I hate it. I hate it. It's like if he does what I want him to do, I won't make his life a living hell. And I tell y'all, I'm your sister and I love you, but I'm wired like a guy. I can tell you right now, I've been kicked. I've been kicked. Oh God, dude. And when I say wired like a guy, I'm talking about emotionally. But if I was a dude, there'd be that happy wife or happy life. As soon as you sung that to me, if I was dating when you said that, you'd be a history lesson. You would be a history lesson because relationships are mutual. That means you make both of y'all go out of your way to make each other happy. It should not be all about you getting your way. It should not always be about you. And when I saw a TikTok today, I got aggravated with it. When the guy talked about, oh, if I don't do this, he said, hey, and I got to make sure I do this and all that. Dancing around like a slave to appease somebody's emotions, emotional control, emotional witchcraft. It's supposed to be mutual. That means it's not about if he come home and make me happy, I'll make him happy. No. This is, ladies, okay, I love you. I gotta tell you, as your sister, we gotta get delivered from that. Don't eat that. Don't eat that. Don't eat that. It's all about you making each other happy. Relationships are like that. Because if you go in with that mentality, either you're gonna end up married to an Ahab, and I'm gonna tell you that's a frustrating event, or you're gonna end up with somebody that's gonna just walk out the door. Because he's gonna get tired of being controlled by you. He's gonna get tired of having to deal with you making these climate changes in the house just because you didn't get your way. I wanted to coffee. I made coffee, baby, but you didn't put that much sugar in it. You can go down and put sugar in your own coffee. Boy, you didn't do that for me. And now you want to take and punish him the whole day instead of saying, thank you for the coffee, baby. I appreciate it. Okay. I love you, right? You're cute to me, right? You look handsome and good and all that, right? Turn around them jeans on. Okay. Do me a favor. Next time you're making coffee, you bring it up, just bring a little sugar with you. A little extra, put a little extra sugar in mine. And, if you can, if you taste it and the first thought you have is that it can give somebody diabetes, then you made it just right. Okay. You don't have to do yours like that, but do that to mine. That means you can actually communicate with a person in a happy, funny way. You can communicate what you want as opposed to putting people on punishment, as opposed to turning something small into a grandiose or a huge event. I'm teaching you because if you're single, I promise you this will bless your life. If you're married, it'll help you as well. You can go into a marriage and not become that woman. Girl, what y'all fighting for? He packed his bags and left. It started with a cup of coffee. Oh, you serious? All right, I'm gonna move on. I can feel the growls. I can feel them. I can feel them. You focus on your intentions. This makes it difficult for you to take accountability. I had good intentions, but did you think about the process when you dragged that corpse into the bedroom? Did you think about how that person was going to feel? Did you think about what the conversation was going to feel like? Did you think about maybe the person had plans to do something? You focus on your intentions. Number 14, do me a favor, like and share. Do me a favor, like and share. Number 14, number 15. You have trouble saying no to others, but you always feel taken advantage of after saying yes. You have trouble saying no to others, but you always feel it's taken advantage. That's a victim's mentality. Now you got to learn. I understand that sometimes you have the gift of charity, the gift of giving, the gift of love that compels you to give. And that's absolutely normal. And a lot of people who have that, a lot of times they isolate themselves because they have trouble saying no and they don't use discernment, or, they don't use discernment, and then they walk away feeling used. So they'll much rather isolate themselves than to go through that. Well, that's not a personal or an external issue. That is a me issue. And that's something that you have to deal with within yourself. You got to learn how to go into communal spaces and just say, yeah, no, not today, or I don't feel like it. You have to get to that space where you are strong enough to say no. But if you say yes all the time and then you turn around and get offended or feel like a victim after saying yes, that's not an issue of the person. There are takers all around this planet. Everywhere you go, you're going to come in contact with takers, but you have to be guarded enough to say, yeah, nope, not me. You have to have it in your mind. You say, yeah, no, thank you. Hey, girl, we about to go here. You want to roll? Mm-mm. Girl, I'm going to go home and take a nap. Oh, girl, I'm trying to get a license for toenail clipping, and they talking about $395. Can you help me? Girl, no, ma'am. I could, but no. Mm-mm. I'm not doing that right now. But you can probably consider this. Sometimes you just tell people no and give them a solution. That's all. If it's hard for you to say no, I'm helping you out right now. Say no and give them a solution. That's it. Say no and give them a solution. I know sometimes people catch you off guard. You wake up in the morning, you pick up the phone up. Hey, girl. So he didn't send the child support payment today. I checked the card and everything, and nothing came in. I wanted to know if you could shoot me about $200. You said, girl, I wish I could help you. That's all. That's all. I wish I could help you. Have you called your mother? Give them a solution. Give them a solution. It makes you feel a lot better. After you give them a solution, get off the phone. If you are that person that feels weighted down and feel pressure and you feel triggered, just say, no, have you called your mom? No, you know how she is, and I just didn't want to ask her for anything. What about your children's father? Girl, I don't want to ask him for nothing. He just don't always. Yeah, I wish I could help you, sis. But if I think of somebody else, I'll give you a call. Okay? I'm just not waking up. I'm about to go up in here and take a shower. You see how easy that was. You see how easy it was. You can navigate through that without feeling the weight of it, and then you end up sending her the money, and then now she keep on talking about her situation as a justification for not giving it back to you, because in her mentality she feel like you got it like that, so you shouldn't miss $200. She feels like you got it like that, so you should miss $200. No, it's simple solutions or workarounds. All right, where were we? You have trouble saying no. Okay, let's move number 16. You feel like no one understands you, so you don't even try explaining yourself. You've had the solution. You were able to, like, somebody got mad at you at some point. You had the ability to tell them, like, no, I did what such and such told me. Here go the text message, what have you. But you really don't even bother defending yourself. You just kind of let them go off and you go on about your way. They got to find out 2 years later that they were wrong. And they're like, why didn't you say anything? The reason you didn't say anything because you like the attention of being a victim. That's the reason you didn't say anything. So you got to make sure that you get beyond that. You feel like no one understands you. One of the greatest tricks of the enemy is to make you feel like your situation is unique and nobody understands you. Biggest thing of the enemy. The biggest issue of the enemy. And this is why, like in my program, I always have the ladies to talk about, different things that they've been through, what they feel or what have you. I like to get them to talk about it because I want them to see that it's actually common, that it's not something that they are dealing with alone, because it is a very common ploy, a very common trick of the enemy is to make you feel like what you've gone through, things that maybe you've done in life or maybe that were done to you, that they are unique and you're the only one that has ever gone through that. It's a trick of the enemy. Number 17, not going to stay here because I feel like I talked about this. You quit easily. That's victim's mentality. You quit easily. And the reason you quit easily is because you are tormented anytime you're a part of anything that could potentially help you out. The enemy torments you. So let's say if you're a part of a good church, the enemy begins to torment you with thoughts. Okay, they don't like me up in here. The pastor don't like me. The people in the parking lot don't like me. The folks up in the foyer don't like me. The people up in the bathroom didn't like me. Everywhere I go, they don't like me. I went into the cafe. All I wanted was some water. They didn't like me there. So you start dealing with a bunch of mental warfare, and the enemy will allow you, or he will cause you to stitch all that stuff together and make sense of it. That's what he loves to do. He likes to make sense of foolishness. So it makes sense in your mind. So it starts, you say, this what happened. So I didn't know that boy was in a relationship. I didn't know that, right? Because he always was flirting with me. Okay, so I didn't know he was in a relationship. And so one day he said something to me, and I smiled back. And he said, "You looking nice." I said, "You looking good too." And so this girl overheard me when I said, and I saw the way she looked at me, but I didn't think nothing of it. But it was like the Lord was like highlighting it. He was like, pay attention the way she looked at you, pay attention to what have you. So next thing you know, find out he in a relationship, and now his fiance. She walked around there, and see, one day she bumped into me, and I was like, okay, that ain't no coincidence, because I saw the girl that was looking at me funny. I saw her talking to the fiance, and so now they were looking at me funny or what have you. And so now the fiance, I come to find out that she best friends with the pastor's niece, right? And so I think that they said something to the pastor, what have you. Then he went to the back and he got all the folks in on it, and he told them to kind of watch out for me and stuff. And girl, when I came there, I ain't come there for no mess. I came there because I'm trying to worship the Lord, right? I just wanted a community of friend, of family, what have you. I really like that church, right? But it don't even make no sense. And it all started off because dude didn't even tell me he was a whole religious thought. So now I'm walking around here. When I go up in there, everybody just looking at me funny. That's why I try to show up late. Girl, service started at 10. I show up at 10:45. I wait till he already preaching, because until I go up and I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna get the word, and I get out of there before anybody else say anything. I want you to hear it. When you hear it coming out of me, you can see how foolish it is. You can see that it's demonic. Demons will make sense of everything. Now, the real story could be you acting weird. The guy wasn't flirting. He was simply being nice. You took it as flirty. The other girl wasn't looking at you funny. She happened to just look up at the same time you looked up, right? And so she happened to look up at the same time you looked up. She looked up at you. You looked up at her. She didn't say anything, and you didn't say anything. Both of you are introverts, so you don't know how. You're not that great with socialization, okay? But she didn't think anything of it. She just went on about her merry life. But you turned it into a whole event. And every time you come around people, you think that there's some type of plot, some type of ploy, something going on with those people. And you create this aura, for lack of a better word, around yourself that makes people feel like you're unapproachable. But you define their unwillingness to approach you as they don't like you. Girl, like the dude, he was walking around prophesying. He kept looking at me, and I could tell that the Lord gave him a word for me. He didn't give it to me. How you gonna hold back a prophetic word because you don't like somebody? I'm telling you, girl, the hell gonna be full of folks. I'm talking about they gonna have a whole band section, minstrel section. They gonna have a whole thing in hell. All of that is coming from here. Cast down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. You're supposed to fight that in the mind realm. Fight it in the mind realm. Every human being on here has ungodly, demonic thoughts. Every person. We all deal with a thought that comes in that it looks to make sense. But when you got a healthy mind, you ignore it, or you will cast it down. You'll sit up there and say, you cast it down and say, that ain't true. That ain't true. Remember, I did the research. Well, I did a search, not necessarily research, but a Google search, which is research. But what we have 6,000 negative thoughts a day. 6,000. The average person has 6,000 negative thoughts a day. When you're dealing with mental illness, you got to understand, when you're dealing with somebody who's got a broken mind, they accept the majority of that is true. They accept the majority of that is true. They get in traffic. Somebody cut them off. Oh, these demons, they can tell there must be they even think that there are angels walking around their car, and that people are in traffic and they got their demons, and demons see the angels walking, and the demons say, oh, that's one of God's children. Let's cut her off. There's a light coming from your car. You behind the wheel all up there. Come, oh, these demons. Oh, the boha. You ain't gonna get me today, Satan. Do you see? I I have to give it to you externally. Cover yourself with the blood. Of course, Satan does go about seeking whom he can devour. But understand this: everything is not a plot against you. Everything is not a plot. Everything is not somebody sitting there. The 18-wheeler guy is not in his car possessed. And he look over there and see God. He said, No, you got a sleepy dude who ain't got that much sleep, who may got an attitude. I'm saying, don't put too much thought into that stuff. Cover yourself with the blood of Jesus. Cover yourself with the blood of Jesus. But don't turn it into a whole event in your mind. Girl, it was almost had three accidents on my way here. But you know what? I thank God for my angels, right? Because these people, I'm telling you right now, they be knowing. Then when I pulled over, when I was trying to park, this girl took my parking spot. It was a whole parking spot at the front. Why you want to come take this one? But you know what? I'm like, okay. Devil, you ain't gonna take my joy, all right? And then I got up and I went on into the store, girl. And I was like, I was on my way into the store, and as I was going in, this man came out. He was looking at me funny, and I'm like, yeah, them demons, they sure know you. They sure know you. He was looking at me funny. He was probably looking at you funny because your lash was hanging off. You probably looked like somebody he knew. Let me tell you one thing I did at one point. I remember this one time, when I was in high school, I ran up to this girl. It was in McGrady's. Who wants secondhand embarrassment? You want it? You want it? I'm gonna give it to you anyway because I love you. And yeah, anyhow, that's been many moons ago. But I had in high school, I always had a mixed group of friends, right? So I've never been a girl that like to hang around all black girls. I had my friends were 50% white, 50% black. That's how I was. Our school was black and white, so that was my clique in school or what have you. So there was this one girl, this one white girl. She was short like me, and she had this long brown hair. I don't think she was in she sat with us, but she was still cool. She was still cool with me. I was cool with her. We would always stop and talk and laugh or what have you. One day I was in McGrady's. I thought I saw her. I'd never seen her family before. But Sister Laravia, thank you, sis. God bless you. I thought I saw her. I was sure that was her. 100% sure that was her. So I walked up to this girl, got behind her, put my hands over her face, said, guess who? Her daddy was standing right there. Her sisters were standing right there. All they see is this black girl walk up behind this girl and say, guess who? And she's like, I don't know. I said, and I called her name, and she's like, and they're like, when she turned around, I looked at her. She looked just like the girl, but still, she was like, I was like, I'm so sorry. Because it was hands on. It would have been different if I'd have tapped her. I literally walked up behind this girl, put my hands over her eyes. I just shared you a little bit, just secondhand embarrassment. I remember that day. And anything where trauma was involved, it records in your brain. Your brain has a special place for trauma called the unconscious, and it stores there. And that, yeah, it holds on to that. That was a traumatic moment. I was so humiliated that I walked up to this girl and literally covered her eyes up. All right, where was I? You quit easily. Number 18, you form relationships with other. What's on number 18? Okay. You form relationships with other rejected people, and together you host an us against the world mentality. That Bonnie and Clyde mentality. You get around other rejected people and y'all just form this. It's just us against the whole wide world. It's just like, girl, I'm trying to tell you. When you went out there, the 18 would cut you off in traffic. They sure did, girl. I don't care. I was at the store and I went over there to the tampon section. I just wanted to get some tampons. Why was there a whole grown man on that section? Okay, he might got a wife, but he probably got daughters. It's not a plot. It's not a plot. Girl, Sister Jill, God bless you. Thank you, sis. He was on there on the tampon aisle, and I'm over there, and I'm just like, I'm over there trying to look. I can't see because he wide, right? And I'm trying to look, but he bent all over and stuff, and he got this plumber's thing going because I can see his butt. And girl, I'm telling you, the enemy was messing me because it was a breeze came through there. How a breeze come through the whole store? But it's like a breeze went into his pants and picked up this scent, and it just blew. And All I wanted was, I just wanted to get some tampons. And then he was putting his hands on every last box of them. And it wasn't just a normal put your hands on. It's almost like he wiping stuff on. You know how he was just grabbing stuff like, sorry. He just grabbing stuff. And in your mind, that is a demonic attack. In your mind, that was a whole event. Now you're dealing with a man who literally is on an aisle that don't know what to look for. He's trying to get the same thing, the exact thing his daughter told him to get, for example, and he's just trying not to. And he's really not thinking about you. He's really not thinking about you, girl. Why that man opened up a pack of tampons, grabbed a tampon out, and I just left. See, I said, see, this is why I don't shop at Walmart. I'm going to Target. It don't make no sense with the stuff you come in contact with in Walmart. And let me say this before I move on from number 18. This is one of the issues that we are having now, and you're going to see an expansion of this. It's really sad, but you're going to see an expansion of mental illness. Sin leads to mental illness. And we're seeing people's minds being taken over by the enemy. People's minds being taken over by the enemy. So when you go out, you are dealing with a bunch of schizophrenic people. Mildly schizophrenic, undiagnosed people who think that you are plotting against them, who think that you got some type of issue with them. You are dealing with some broken people when you go out there. When you go out there in the streets or what have you, and you pass by somebody on the aisle, you may come across people that think that you are doing that to bother them. And you don't even know them. I'm over here looking for this, or I'm looking for that. Right, those mass shootings. I'm looking for this, and this girl was like, girl, I'm just telling you. People, I'm telling you the truth. If I'm on an aisle with a person that starts talking like that, if I got something else I need to go get, I'm probably going to leave that aisle and go get it. Because I'm not going to sit up on the aisle and argue with that child. If she's sitting up there, because I think we've all had it happen when you pass by somebody and, you're on their little tight Walmart aisle or what have you. You're over there trying to get something and you go to pick something up. And when you reach, when you pass by, they're like, and you feel it. And you just sit up there and they're like, and they get on their phone. What? Girl, finna get out this store so I don't get arrested. I just go ahead and leave that out. I'm not finna sit there. I ain't trying to prove to myself nobody's crazy child. That child has an unhealthy mind. All right. You form relationships with other rejected people, and together you host an us against the world mentality. Number 19, you blow every situation or every scenario way out of proportion. You blow every situation and every scenario out of proportion. Do me a favor, like and share. You blow every situation out of proportion. Stuff that should have been minor, you turn it into something major. And then you find yourself in the midst of having a mental breakdown. And you're like, it was just a cup of coffee. Anyway, it started with a cup of coffee. I don't know how we got to this space. I don't know how I got to this space because you wouldn't leave it alone. You got to learn when to leave stuff alone. You got to learn that, some situations are better left alone, right? Some fights are not worth it. But you just turn around and you wouldn't let go. Okay, I got one more thing to say. Wait. I know. Okay, I know I said one drop. I got one more thing to say. You're setting the stage for a bunch of fighting, all right? You blow every scenario out of proportion. Number 20, you use humiliation to get your way. I'll give you an example. Like I said, post office incident earlier today, lady in the post office, and she's trying to humiliate the postal worker simply because her mail wasn't delivered. And the postal worker trying to explain to her that the address that it came from was a fictitious address, and that a lot of scammers had been doing that and using that particular address, but the lady wasn't willing to hear that. She wasn't willing to hear that because she just decided, hey, I'm offended, and everybody needs to. Sister Marquita, God bless you. Thank you, sis. Everybody needs to hear about my offense. Everybody needs to, the lines need to be held up. Everything needs to go down because I'm offended. So you blow every scenario out of proportion, which is what she did. You use humiliation to get your way. You go into restaurants. There was a season where I would go and sit in restaurants every weekend. I called them my daddy-daughter dates with the Lord. And I saw that quite often. I would see people who wanted to get, for example, a free dessert, or they wanted to get a discount on their meal, or even a free meal. I got a chance to see, especially in Florida, where people would act a fool. They would put a waiter or waitress's job in danger, all because they want a free dessert. They will use him. They will humiliate the person. They humiliate everywhere they go. They go into a restaurant. They just use humiliation because they have nothing to lose. This is why, you got to be mindful who you hang around. You can't be around folks who have nothing to lose. Man, they don't care. And they like to come across people who have something to lose, and they like to use humiliation. I'll get loud. I'll start a scene. It ain't like I'm going nowhere anyhow. I'll start a scene. It's a mechanism of control. It is Jezebelic, narcissistic, whatever you want to call it. All right, number 21, you believe that the world is an evil place and you often fantasize about heaven. You believe that the world is an evil place. You always like, this is just a bad place. People are evil. And one day it'll all be over with. And I'll be in heaven. I have my crown. And no, you're supposed to have, Jesus said he came that you will have life and have it more abundantly. You're not supposed to be on the face of this earth living in misery. One of the reasons why I found that a lot of people live in misery is not because the earth is a miserable place. Are there evil people out there? Yes. It's because they refuse to separate themselves from those evil people. They refuse to separate themselves from those evil people. You know how many times I counsel people and they be like, and my mama did this and she did that. And I'm like, okay, your mama sounds like a narcissist. Stop going over there. And then they talk to them 2 days later, 2 months later. And I was over at my mama's house and I'm like, I can't help you. Because if you're going to keep going and putting yourself in the lion's den and then you come out every time you get scratched, then you just want somebody to cry. You just want attention. If you want to see a change, then you have to understand, okay, if my mom's a narcissist and she is broken, then I need to put up some boundaries between me and my mama. I can't go, I may have to go no contact with my own mama. And then I have to heal. I tell them, I say, you got to go ahead and grieve the relationship you wanted with her and have the relationship that you can have, even if that is no relationship at all. Hey, girl, I just don't, because they're so determined to remain a victim. They don't want help. Listen, every leader that's ever done counseling, every leader that's ever pastored, mentored, or done anything dealing with a group of people came to discover this truth. There are some people who want attention. They don't want help. They want attention. And you learn the difference because you can give them advice and they never take it. You give them advice, they don't take it. Or they'll take it for 5 minutes, 2 months, 2 days, but they're going to always keep going back to the vomit. They're going to always go back to the vomit, and then they always come back and cast themselves as a victim. And you thinking, okay, this is a new lion, tiger, or bear that they've come in contact with. This is a new Goliath. Okay. They didn't already slayed that issue, and it's the same old lion. Girl, what happened? So he talking about he ain't gonna give me no money for my son's school. And I'm like, you a whole daddy over there. How you supposed you? And he like, but I'm your daddy. I'm not the daddy of your child. But still, my daddy, you already know that my son's daddy, he ain't trying to help me. You gonna try to tell me? Okay, first and foremost, your daddy is not obligated to buy your kids their school stuff, right? Even if you're dealing with toxic people, let's say they use stuff to control you, you got to pull yourself out of that situation. You got to stop being codependent. You got to stop being codependent. One of the things I've learned is that a lot of people, they're not victims. They're just codependent people, and they get mad because they can't use people in peace. Oh, I said it out loud. They can't use people in peace. It normally, he's making it hard ever since I turned 21 years old. You're a whole grown woman. Get up and get out of there. I'm just saying, now he gonna call himself my daddy, and he gonna try to make me pay rent for my room. I just got a room in the house. How much he charging you? $200 a month, girl. That ain't bad. You in a house. Wait till you get out there and get some real bills. Wait till you get out there and you hitting up about close to $2,000, $3,000 a month. Plus you got $400 light bill. Plus you got a water bill and gas bill and cell phone bill, and you got to pay. Prayerfully, you don't get a car note, but if you got one, then you got insurance. You got to put gas in your car. And you giving somebody $200 a month, shut up and be grateful. Gratitude, I tell you the truth, gratitude will save your life. Gratitude will save your life. Honor will save your life. If you have a heart of gratitude, just say, you know what? I only want to give up this $200 a month, but my parents are not obligated to take care of me. I'm a whole grown up. give that $200 and say, "Hey, Dad, I want to say thank you for giving me this lesson. Thank you for giving me this lesson. You're amazing. You're an amazing father, and I appreciate you." Rather than, "Oh my God, you making me pay $200 a butt. What was you gonna do with that 200? I'm gonna get my hair done. I was gonna get my hair done, and you making me take $200 a month." My mom, when I turned 17 years old, I got my first job. Before I got it, my mom was taking me around job hunting, and my mom said to me, um, she said, "I'm not gonna charge you any rent." I was like, "Okay, cool." I was real happy. She said, "When you start working, you get to keep your money, all that." When we went to cash my first paycheck, I was already disappointed because I was disappointed that my paycheck was so low. Because I had it in my head, because you don't know nothing about no FICA, OSHA, you don't know nothing about all them people that come and hit your checkup. And so for me, when I got my first paycheck, Sister Deanna, thank you, sis, God bless you. When I got my first paycheck, I had it in my head like I was gonna ball. I got my first paycheck. That thing was even less than half of what I expected. So I'm already in a car crying, sad. Just then my mom looked at me. I'm already mad because I done planned out. And she was like, "How much of it are you gonna give me?" Huh? How much are you gonna give me? Mama, you said I'm gonna have to give you. She said, "I changed my mind." And I'm like, she was like, "I'm gonna take your paycheck. Every time you get paid, I'm gonna put so much money in the bank. And I'm taking $50 every paycheck." I threw a temper tantrum. I did. My mama she started a bank account. Um, and she put every paycheck she would take, I think $100 every paycheck I got for my bank account. And she said, "Because you're not gonna keep riding to work with me. You're not gonna keep on." Y'all, I thought my mom was the worst person in the world. To this day, I am so grateful that she did that. When you're young, you don't want to hear this. I'm grateful because within a year or less than a year, my mom said, "Okay, now come on, we're gonna go get you a car. You just saved up $1,000. I saved up a little bit over $1,000." She said, "Now we can go get you a car." So she took me to this place and let me pay, the deposit, what have you, because she was like, "You're not gonna rely on me." She made me pay rent. She didn't allow me to get spoiled. And I am thankful because I've got a chance to see what spoiled kids look like. When I see a grown up version of them, I seen a grown up version of them. And I am so thankful to my mother for all of those hard lessons. I thought she was just being mean. I thought she was the worst parent in the whole wide world. Even Sister Kara, I see you saying they tried to kick you out. My parents did that to me. My mom did that to me one time. But you know what? I'm grateful. I am grateful now because when you see the grown up version, those kids who are not disciplined, they grew up, they become a little, those are the narcissists we talking about today. A lot of them become narcissistic because they have an unrealistic view of life. No, my mama gave me the hard listen, and I'm grateful because it taught me to never expect things from people. It helped me. It saved my life. All right, where was I? You believe that the world is an evil place, and you often fantasize about going to heaven. I think we got two more on this one. Number 22. You often put yourself in harm's way. You often put yourself in harm's way. A lot of times, when you're dealing with people who have a victim's mentality, they will go get in a relationship. You be like, "Girl, that man's a whole drug dealer," and they believe he killed somebody, but he's like a soft teddy bear. Sis, I know, sis. I get it. You love me. You're concerned about me, but he said he would never hurt me. You ever talk to somebody and it's like they're intentionally like you cannot be that stupid. You are literally trying to provoke me. You ever had tell me? Am I the only one? Have you ever had a conversation with somebody? It seems like they are intentionally trying to provoke you. Like you cannot. There's no way a human being is that stupid. Like they're pretending. Am I the only one that's had conversations with people like that? Because I maybe like you just like you waiting on them to say I'm just playing because you just standing like he's an amazing person, girl. I know he sells drugs and he's wanted for murder, but girl, he's a whole teddy bear. You should see him, girl. I'm telling you, the other day he came over to my house and he was really upset and he broke down crying and I held him and everything. Girl, that's anger. Dude was manifesting in your presence. I know, but nobody understand. Now your face on a milk carton, missing, missing. You're in a car on the way to get killed. I thought you loved me because you didn't want to hear nobody tell you the truth, sis. Sis, he gonna kill you dead. He gonna make sure he ain't that type of person that gonna shoot you and run. He gonna make sure you dead. He shoot you and then he gonna stab you 55 times, and then he gonna get back up and he gonna roll your head in the water and make sure you drown. He gonna make sure you dead. People who are professional victims throw themselves in harm's way because they love coming out to tell the story of it, and that's how a lot of them get killed. Because they keep throwing themselves in harm's way. Oh, girl, he's not a bad person. Sis, how many years did he serve in prison? He just got out. I think he served 7 years this time, but he's a change. He said he's not doing that gang banging stuff anymore. He said he's not messing around with no drugs. But he had white powder around his nose. I know, and I think that he just got tempted that day, and he was around the wrong people. But I'm telling you right now, he is such a good person. Waiter, can you bring the ticket? Uh, I got it, girl. Where's my wallet? Can't find my wallet. It's not in my purse. It's not there. You say he used to be on drugs? I think he back on them, sis. No, no. I must have left. Cause yeah, he came to the grocery store with me today, and when we got in the car, he insisted on holding my purse. Because he said it's not good luck for me to put it on the floor. And maybe it fell out on the floor. Give me a moment, I'll be right back. Let me go back out to the car. I didn't find it in the car. Call him up on the phone. Hey babe, how are you? I can't find my wallet. I ain't got your wallet. I didn't say, baby, don't scream at me. Well, I don't know what happened to my wallet. Could you get the tab? And I'll pay you back as soon as everything. Okay, I'll tell you what, before I get the tab, here's my phone. Call your bank and check so you can go ahead and shut your card down. Okay, give me a phone right quick. Hi. Put your PIN number in, your social security number. Your balance is $0.14. Wait. I just got my paycheck. Okay, that was my change. Okay, I'm not gonna panic. Looks like my car got stolen for real. Let me ask him about my savings. Your balance is negative $88.74. Oh no. Junebug got your card. And then now, when y'all break up, here you on Facebook Live. Title: Trusting the Wrong People. I'm going live because I want to, sometimes you can be a good person to a bad people. I trusted this man. And I didn't want to believe for the life of me that he would steal my card. Not from me. And I know I saw a powdery substance around his nose, but he told me that he was helping his mother cook and that she was cooking flour or what have you. He sniffed the flour to make sure that it was fresh. And I can't even believe what happened. All the way up until they showed me the security cameras, I still didn't want to believe that was him. And I kept saying it's just somebody that looks like him. And I looked at the security cameras and I looked at him close, and I happened to notice a t-shirt that I bought him. And he was wearing that t-shirt or what have you. He was in a store, and he was buying a spoon. Who goes to the store and buy a spoon? He was trying to do that rock, girl. But I'm just saying, went to the store and bought a spoon. And he left, and he withdrew all of my money. And how they let him do that? I thought you had a withdrawal limit at ATM. How the mess he did that? Crackheads will find a way to get your stuff. He said, I don't want this deep in this. I can't believe he would do that to me. And now they've arrested him. He sent me a letter saying he's sorry. And I went to the jail and I was like, how could you, Junebug? I loved you. I trusted you. I gave you my PIN number, right? I gave you all of that. How could you do that? And he was like, it was the devil. So the devil made me do it. The drugs, the devil. Give me another time. So he's promised to get counseling. You know what you say to a person like that? Girl, lose my phone number. Lose my you deserve. You deserve what Junebug gonna take you to. Because as soon as he get out, he gonna hit you up again. These are the people, they throw themselves in harm's way. And then after they always come out of it. I can't even believe that man had a whole wife. Sis, he only called you between 8 to 5. That sounds like a work schedule. He didn't want to call you after that. Every time he called you, he was in commute. He was in traffic. He never called you from home. Sis, he didn't want you calling him. He insisted on being the one to call you. He never really wanted to go and be seen out in public with you. What part's not clicking? But he was so nice, and he plays the drums at our church. And girl, did you hear about minstrels? Not all of them. Not all. I know we got some great minstrels at our church. I'm saying they got a rap. But no, girl, I'm talking about he be playing them drums. He be all in the spirit. Which spirit? I'm telling you, There's no way. There's no way he had a whole wife. I've never seen his wife at church. Well, she's active military. She's been overseas. Oh my gosh. Here's a picture. I've seen her before. Oh gosh. Girl, that man was playing you. Please don't tell me you slept with him. I went over to his house and I noticed that the pictures were turned down. I know that. I just thought he had just moved in. And he told me the Lord said I was his wife, and things got hot and heavy. And just next thing I knew, my wig was on the bathroom floor. My pants were in the kitchen on the table. My bra was in the living room under the coffee table. I don't know what happened. It's just, and when you're dealing with a person who is a professional victim, a lot of times they'll take a situation like that and be like, 911. I want to report a rape. You weren't raped. You were stupid. You weren't raped. You gave it up. You were deceived. Okay. That's what con men do. Con men deceive. All right. I've come in contact with con men, even in the world of business or what have you. They try everything underneath the sun to get something up out of you. If I'm manipulated, I got con when I first got into the logo business. I had people that would give me prophetic words, and then it would say, I really need a logo. And then I felt the need to give him one. I've done that maybe 2 times. I caught on. The Lord dealt with me. You ain't rape because you can't call stupidity rape. You gave it up. He got a whole wife. I can't even believe it. And then you start getting caught up in what his wife looks like. Girl, but I can understand why he cheated on her. I mean, you see how big that woman is? Like a linebacker, like Tyrannosaurus Rex. Says he married to her. He loved her just the way she is, okay? He's complete. He just a thought. Ain't got nothing to do with her. That's all. But I saw him speaking in tongues. What does that mean? We got the movie covered out. We got it covered out. What is that? I can't believe people would do things like that. People are wicked out in these streets, I can't even believe I slept with him. And you know what? I should have known something was weird because he insisted on sleeping with me in the backseat of his car in the garage, even though the house is right there. I'm like, why are we in the garage? Come to find out, his wife got cameras in the house. She just got cameras and stuff like that. He insisted the back seat of a Chevy, hot garage. Girl, I sweated. All right, last one, number 23. This is evidence of victim's mentality. You like to publicize your pain. You get hurt, you get disappointed, you get offended. You got to take to Facebook. You get in a hospital bed, you up in there for allergies. The doctors say they think it's corona. You done took a picture. The doctors say they think it's corona. Y'all pray for me. Girl, why you had to get dressed up to go to the hospital? Or some of you may strip all of your makeup off. That call the paramedic. Paramedic get there, or call your aunt, call Uncle Earl to come pick you up. And you got to take all your makeup off. You got to make sure you take a picture in the hospital. Just laying there because you are trying to control somebody, and you're trying to make them think that all of the stress they put you through is the reason you're in that predicament. Anytime I come on Facebook and I see a hospital photo, I do this right here. I scroll on by. I am not gonna like that. That is ridiculous. Why are you posting up pictures of you in a hospital? Oh, I know. I said it. There's somebody on here that's typing. They like, I ain't gonna say it because I'm about to go off on her, and she public, and she gonna say something. I posted a picture of my loved ones. You couldn't send a text message. That's an attention point. That is victim's mentality. That is victim's mentality. When you don't have victim's mentality, in all that honesty, you don't want everybody to know what's going on in your life. You want to make sure that you have your solid people that you can text and say, hey, girl, I'm not feeling good. Like, for example, when I had COVID, I passed out in my kitchen. I didn't get up there. I didn't get up from passing out and go live. I could have came. I hit this YouTube channel. That happened in September. I could have came and went live and just came in my nightgown. Well, guys, I'm on camera because I've been feeling tired and literally passed out in my kitchen. No, I tried to go to bed. Thankfully, I had a strong support team around me that threatened me and wouldn't let me go to bed. I ended up having to go to the hospital. But I'm saying that to say, there was nothing in me that made me want to go live about it. And I came back to teach when I was healed. I didn't come back and say, no. Because you don't publicize your pain. But when you have victim's mentality, you want everybody to know what you're going through because you're looking for sympathy. All right, where does victim mentality, I'm saying victim, where does victim mentality stem from? What is the origin of it? Why do people have victim's mentality? Number one, unresolved trauma. Unresolved trauma. If you don't get healed, you will always want to be a victim because you will fantasize. Remember, I told you, you may fantasize about your own funeral. The people that hurt you at the funeral, and they holding them back, and you like, I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. I should have done that to you. I'm sorry, baby. Unresolved trauma. Number two, neglect and rejection, typically parental. If your parents didn't give you attention growing up, if they neglected you, they rejected you, or anything like that, you can end up having victim's mentality because you never got beyond that. And so you see yourself as inferior, you see yourself as broken, you see yourself as damaged. Consequently, you walk around with victim's mentality. Number three, codependency. Codependency. Remember, I told you that's addictive. That's addictive. It is also a part of a Jezebelic mentality. That when you have a codependent attitude, it simply means, or dependent or codependent attitude, it simply means you're volunteering to be an Ahab. That means that, hey, you're looking for somebody. You don't care if they got to say you crazy. You'll take a crazy check. You don't mind people calling you crazy. You don't mind people saying that there's something speaking curses over you, saying you're sick, you're dying, or whatever. You don't mind none of that as long as it comes with a check and some attention. As long as it comes with a check and some attention. Oh, this is what's wrong. If it comes with a check and some attention, the neglect and rejection. And just, a lot of parents are doing that to their kids, sadly enough. There are parents that do that to their kids. They're so determined to get a check that they will have their children diagnosed as crazy. I saw that in my family. They'll keep telling the child, there's something wrong with you. You got this, you got that. And they'll keep on doing it. And they'll keep taking the child in the clinic and look and say, well, mental health center, like, ain't nothing wrong with your child. And they'll keep doing that until they diagnose the child, put the child on medication. The whole time the parent just wanted money. Parent didn't want to work. Parent just wanted money. Didn't care what they did to the child. They're so narcissistic and self-centered that all they wanted was, and they also wanted that child to be dependent on it for the rest of their lives. They didn't want to be abandoned and rejected by their children. They didn't want their children to get up and leave the nest. So they had to convince their children that there was something wrong with them and that they would depend on them for the rest of their lives. Neglect and rejection. Number three was codependency. You depend on people. You're used to depending on people. You don't know how not to depend on people. Number 4, betrayal. It can come from somebody walking out of your life, betraying you, and you being a victim in that state. Because there's a point in life that most of us are victims. Many, if not all of us, have been victims. But you're not supposed to stay there. It's like welfare. Welfare, there's nothing wrong with a person going into that system if you happen to lose your job unexpectedly and you need the money. But you're supposed to come out of it fast as possible. Your goal should be to give yourself 3 months and try your best to get out of there as fast as possible. But when it comes to betrayal, it's the same thing. There was 5 stages, and there's another model that says 7 stages of grief. You're supposed to go through those stages, right? Somebody betrays you. Let's say you were married and your husband go out and cheat on you. It happens. It hurts like crazy. All right, it hurts. It is one of the most astronomical pains that anybody could ever feel outside of death. However, you have to remind yourself you're not the only person that's been through that before. You have to remind yourself of that, and you have to also tell yourself, I got to pick myself back up. If I don't do it for me, let me do it for my children. If I don't do it for me, let me do it for my family. If I don't do it for me, let me do it for the people that are looking up to me. Let me pick myself back up. But one of the things that happens is with betrayal, you find that you get a lot of attention. And when you start getting a lot of attention, you can become addicted to that attention. I know when I went through going through a breakup and it was sudden and all that other stuff, and yeah, I was very mindful. The only 2 people that knew was my mom and my best friend at the time. Nobody else knew except for who my mom probably told. But half of them I didn't talk to them anyhow. But I kept that, and those 2 people, they were giving me enough attention. I didn't even want that. A lot of people like to surround themselves with people just so they can turn around and fall and get the attention of all those people. They would go out here and get in a relationship with old drug dealing Tyrone and then turn around and like, girl, I can't believe I was in his truck with him and we were riding, right? And he was riding down the street in the hood or what have you. And he put the shocks on, right? We were just bouncing. The next thing you know, I heard pow. I thought one of the shocks had broke. Come to find out somebody shooting at the truck. It grazed my knee. I went to the hospital. I'm good. But girl, I can't even believe it. You in a truck with a drug dealer. What do you expect gonna happen? You're gonna get shot at, okay? It's the way that works. You don't get to enjoy the benefits of a world without dealing with the infractions that come with it. So I why would they shoot from the passenger side? Because they were on that side of the road. That's why they wasn't gonna run to the other side of the road. They saw the truck coming, they were on that side of the road, and they gonna shoot. That's just the way that works, okay? They gonna shoot. He owed them some money. That's it. That's the way that works. Like I said, people like that, they like to throw themselves in those type of situations, and then they turn around and play the victim. I can't believe that people are like this. Sister Lindsay, God bless you. Thank you, sis. Can't believe that people are like this. He shot in that truck, and girl, he could have hit me. One of the bullets flew past me, and it hit the mirror, girl. Yeah. The Lord saved my life. It hit the mirror. I said, God, this is the price I get for being a servant. That ain't got nothing to do with you being a servant. If you were a true servant of God, you would have been in the trunk with that drug dealer. Girl. And I'm telling you, I think it hit my hair. It burned off a piece of my weave, but it's okay. They were able to cover it up. All right. Codependency, betrayal. And then number 5, over-coddling. This is where victim's mentality comes from. Over-coddling. Over-coddling is typically the result of a parent who dealt with trauma, who is in an attempt to, or they deal with guilt. So it's trauma or guilt that causes parents to over-coddle. Trauma could be from them being abused as a child, so now they just feel the need to they try to fix their inner child by just over-coddling their child. Or it can come from, them feeling guilty. Maybe something happened to the child and they feel guilty. So consequently, the child has no consequences. They keep giving the child everything the child wants or what have you. And they always feed into the mentality that the child is a victim. And that will set up for a narcissistic mentality to begin form. All right. How to get over a victim's mentality. How do we get over it? Then I'm going to let you guys go because I wasn't supposed to be on here this long. I should have known I had 100 notes though. All right, how to get past it. I got 10 pointers for you, and I'm going to move through these relatively quick. Then we're going to get up out of here. All right. Okay. Number 1, take accountability. Take accountability for everything that had happened to the adult sized you. You okay, I get it. As a child, maybe you were molested, you were raped, all these bad things happened to you as a child. You were neglected, you were abandoned, you were rejected, you were left to die, you were a lot of bad things that happened to you as a child. But get the healing that you need from that. But everything that happens to the adult size you can take it for a grain of salt. For example, I had a very traumatic childhood. And consequently, I didn't have any discernment when I got, when I became a young lady. I was out there still doing what I saw my parents do, what I saw my community do. I was perpetuating the same old cycle, right? And I put myself in bad situations and what have you. Those stories are funny to me now. When I look back at the little girl, the young lady that was in a truck with the dude getting kidnapped, the ex-boyfriend, and he driving and he done broke the handle off the door. I look back at that and I find that hilarious. Why do I find that hilarious? I don't find that as, oh my gosh, it's just, I don't know what it is. I did sleep with him. I don't know. It's just something special about it. And this is why I don't let men touch me to this day. Because it's just like they get addicted. Oh my God. Got nothing to do with no addiction. The dude was just crazy. And I was broken and had no discernment. That's the way that worked. I was a product of my environment. And I was perpetuating the same old cycle. I can't walk around and be like, girl, I don't let guys. I avoid eye contact because there's an anointing on me. Like when they look at me in my eyes, they get addicted and they start following me. And I'm like, oh my God, no, no. It's a simple case of I was a broken young woman, demonized even, who came across a demonized man who was broken, and that happened. Tried to break up with him, and I found out that even black boys don't take breakups very well. I used to think when I was younger, I wouldn't date white guys. I was afraid. And my white friends used to ask me, we used to always laugh about, and this is what I used to love about having an interracial group of friends, because you can have those conversations without there being offense. Because a lot of times it's curiosity. And we used to talk, and, we would ask each other, I would ask my white friends, would you date a black guy? And some of them were already doing it, and some of them said, no, culture, or my family would go crazy. And they asked me, would you white? I was like, nope. He said, why? I said, because they don't know how to break up. Mm-mm. I ain't trying to be in the trunk of nobody's car getting backed into a river. I'm not trying to be in the trunk of nobody's car and he in the car crying and drinking. He like, I love you. And he backing the car up into the river. We're going to die together. We're going to be together forever in hell. No. No. But that was my belief. That was the thing I used to tell him, and we all laughed about it. Or what have you. We all laughed about it. Ironically enough, my brother did try to hook me up some years ago, and I've told this story before, with this really handsome white guy. I went over to my brother's house, and he used to always have dudes over to his house, and there was this really handsome white guy over there. And my brother called me. He was like, "Hey, he want to holler at you," and I was like, "Nope." And this is when I was a young lady, y'all. I didn't know no better. I was like, "Nope." I said, "He look good, but I ain't trying to die." Nope. And my brother was like, "No, he cool." I said, "I don't care what you say. No, thank you." And like the guy got on the phone, he was like, "So you gonna do me like that?" He said, "You gonna be all racist?" I said, "I'm not racist. I just don't want to die." And long story short, the man ended up getting in a relationship with a girl. He married a black girl. He actually did kill her. So that he killed her. It validated that mentality that I had. I was like, shoot, I ain't trying to die. I ain't trying to die. But that's that. Take accountability. Take accountability for everything that happened to the adult side of you, even if you just didn't know any better and you put yourself in a bad situation. Take accountability for what happened to you. Number 2, get a therapist. Heal. It annoys me when I come across people who are broken, but they are not intentional about their healing. Like they just want to go around and stay broken for the rest of their lives because they like the benefits of being broken. It's like people that walk around they like the benefits of getting welfare, so they keep on claiming that their back is injured. Dude, you can type. I can't sit up for a long time. You at that slot machine for a long time. That's what they need to monitor. They need to have cameras that you sitting at the slot machine spending taxpayers' money for hours on end, but your back bruised. The whole victim over there. There are things that you can do to make money. You ain't got to be in top notch health. Go to college and do something. Learn something that would allow you. I can't lift everything. What's happening with administrative work? You have 1,000 excuses so that you can remain dependent on people. 1,000 excuses so that you can remain dependent on people. Get a therapist. Heal, 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 heal. Number three, stop fantasizing about having your way. Stop fantasizing about this big old paradise type situation that you don't qualify for. Stop fantasizing about the fine godly man that he loved the Lord. I'm talking about, girl, he be casting out mad demons. But do you cast out demons? No. But he be casting out demons, and he drive a Rolls Royce, and he got like this car and all that other stuff, and he this, and we gonna have this big house. You have to position yourself for everything that you want, and I need you to hear me when I say that. If you want that type of guy, then you need to position yourself. Okay, just by show of hands, how many of you can I tell the truth to without you getting mad? How many can, just by show of hands? Just show of hands. Can I tell you the truth? All right, it don't matter. I'm gonna go ahead and tell the truth anyhow. It's like if you don't go to the gym, for example, if you eat too much, like realistically speaking, if I'm sitting here at KFC every day, I really can't expect to get a personal trainer for a boyfriend or a husband. Okay. All right. Just going by that logic, if I'm relying on the government and I'm not trying to do nothing for myself because I want to be a victim, I can't fantasize about the successful man with the Rolls Royce because he actually need to help me for what he's running. He don't need somebody that's gonna sit around and say, "I need your credit card." Now you can get him with him when he 88 years old and his ping ping don't work anymore, and all he can do is feel around, and he trying to hold on to his shred, whatever shred of you he got left before the Green Reaper come and scoop him up. All right, you can get him when he 88, and he don't care no more. He half senile and he about to die, and you gonna get the surprise in your life. Yeah, he'll give you a nice lifestyle. You'll have all the access to the cars and all that. But when he die, his kids gonna get as well. They're gonna put you out, and you're gonna be on TV talking about some. I loved Ebenezer, and I know it was a 40-year difference, but I really loved him. And for his children to shut me out of his will, for them to shut me out, they know you was a gold digger. Victim's mentality make you always try to take advantage of people. That's why any person that has anything that's accomplished anything stays away from people who have a victim's mentality. When you always talking about everybody trying to get with you, everybody trying to take you, everybody trying to think you trying to take their man, when you talk like that, people know you are a liability. You are a liability. I'm saying that to say, if you sitting around with negative $26 in your account, stop fantasizing about the man with the Rolls Royce to have six figures in his account. Because that type of guy, I'm telling you from experience, growing up in the hood, just seeing that. I used to see them type of dudes ride through the hood, and they would run through them girls. But that's it. When they were ready, they're gonna always go in accordance. And I hate to say this because it's gonna be offensive, with their pedigree. That's who they're gonna settle down with. They're gonna settle down with their pedigree. In other words, whatever you want, you become that. And what it does is, if you want a wealthy man, you become wealthy. If you want a healed man, you get healed. If you want a fit man, you get fit. Does that make sense? If you want somebody who's mentally healthy, can two walk together except they being great? You better make sure you're mentally healthy. Because he ain't no mentally healthy, no sane man is gonna want to listen to you talk about the CIA trying to break into your house, and because you got files that your great granddaddy gave you, and they top secret, and it's stuff from the Social Security Administration where they accidentally overpaid him, and they trying to get into your house because, or they underpaid him, and they trying to get into your house to get the evidence because they know that you got a court case. Nobody gonna want to sit up and have them crazy conversations with you. I know, listen, I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. I know it can be offensive. Not to everybody, but I know some people can be sitting up there and they clenching their teeth. It's okay. This is what freedom looks like. Freedom hurts. Freedom hurts. Freedom is not supposed to feel good. Stop fantasizing about having everything your way. Stop fantasizing about these realities. And you know what? It's okay to dream. But listen, go and accomplish what it is. If you say, hey, I want to buy a castle. That's what I said. I said, I want to buy a castle one day. But you know what's crazy about me? I don't work to attain those things. I just do what I'm supposed to do. But at the same time, I would love to own a castle. I lived in Europe. That's why I passed by plenty of castles. I actually did a tour of it. I love the castle, and it don't have to be an old castle for me. Honestly, I'd rather have one built from the ground up. And honestly, I don't even know if I want to live in it. I think I just want to tour it. It's just weird. It's just weird. But I'm saying that to say, I'm not waiting on some dude to bring that reality to my life. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do as a Christian, as a believer, and I'm building. Faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. All right. Number 4, read your Bible daily. Read your Bible daily. Okay, I had to see what I had scribbled over here. You got to be more than a conqueror in Christ Jesus. If you want somebody who's a conqueror, if you want to attract a victimized male, girl, go for it. Or a victimized female, brother, go for it. I'm telling you right now, that is the worst thing. You are more than a conqueror in Christ Jesus. You are the head and not the tail. You come above and not beneath. You come behind and no good thing. You got to think that way. You got to believe it. And not only do you have to believe it, you have to walk it out. You got to act like it. I don't walk around here acting or thinking like a victim, even when I'm victimized. Even whenever I'm hurt, I'm not going to stay in the victim. I don't even like victim mode. Okay, let me say this real quick. One of the reasons that I refuse to stay in a victim state is because victims automatically attract predators. It is spiritual. So if you walk around thinking like a victim, you will attract predatory people, aka narcissists. You will attract predatory people, and you know what? They always come with a solution to what it is that you feel victimized about. So they look like really good people in the beginning. They look real helpful, and you'll open a door to your life to those people and end up getting victimized all over again. It's a vicious cycle that you never get out of until you stop being a victim. Read your Bible daily. Remember, you are more than a conqueror in Christ Jesus. Number 6. Ooh. Remove yourself from toxic situations. If you're in a relationship with somebody that's beating the brakes off of you, get out of that relationship. If you're at home with your mama and she treating you like crap and you over the age of 18, get out of that house. If you're on a job and they giving you a hard time, listen, I won't tell you to quit that job. What I will tell you to do is this: learn the handbook, put your work in, do what you got to do, and ask the Lord to open up another door for another job. Don't sit there and play the victim. The boss don't like me. This person don't like me. Every place I've gone, every place I've worked, I've always dealt with coming in contact with people who are relatively narcissistic, who just don't like you. Period. Point blank. You ain't got to do nothing to them. They just make it up in their mind. They don't like you. Maybe you look like somebody that took their man. Maybe you got a walk they feel intimidated by you. They feel intimidated by the fact that you happen to be, maybe you're graced to learn really fast, right? And they see leadership on you, and they're afraid that they're going to lose a favor with the boss. I've come in contact with that every freaking place I've ever gone in my whole wide life. If you go into a communal space and you go into there for any length of time, you will come in contact with the principalities of that place. That means those are the people that set the principles of that place. You will come in contact with them. And sometimes if you don't necessarily do what they think that you should do or how you should do it, typically you will get a little bit of warfare. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. If you take it personal, get out of that mindset real quick, but don't normalize that in your life. Don't sit up there and be like, oh my God, it's just like everywhere I go. No. I want you to understand that is a normal thing for anybody going into any place. If you go into a space, if you have the nerves to stand out, trust me, you will get the attention of the principalities. And what I mean principalities, I'm not necessarily talking about like the boss. It could be the little supervisors or the coworkers or what have you. But you will get the attention of anybody who feels that you're on their level, in their rank, and you intimidate them. That's for those of you who have leadership. You're going to get their attention. And sometimes you will get some negative attention from them. They'll try to sabotage. It happens. It happens to the best of us. You're not a victim. That is a sign that you are called to do great things. Take it with an ounce of salt. Be happy. She arguing with herself. I love it. Be happy. It indicates the rank that you're called to. Be happy. Be like, oh my gosh. All right. Number seven. Number seven. I play too much. Number seven. This is to my single sisters. I got a peep. To y'all. This is to the singles. If you got victims mentality, this is how to heal from it. I got a peep, so make sure y'all ain't mad. Let me stop. Take yourself off the dating menu. At a duck. Take yourself off the dating menu. If you know you're hurt, if you know you ain't healed, get yourself off the menu. Because prey attract predators. So the person you're dating is 9 times out of 10 predatory. And if they're not predatory, then you have become the predator. It's fascinating and frustrating to come in contact with broken people who insist on dating. Girl. I am not about to let Tyrone keep me from my good thing. You okay? So yes, I am dating. I am dating Junebug, and he is a good man. He may be, but now you're predatory. You have become the thing that bit you. It's a vampiric effect, and now you're gonna hurt him. Now you're gonna hurt him. And listen, I speak on behalf of every Christian woman who's single, who we tired of y'all broken ones breaking folks. So by the time they get to us, we can't have them because they're broken. Can't have a conversation. Hey, how you doing? You know how women be. Oh, bro, you broken. Like going to a swap meet. Pick up something. Dang it, it's got a crack in it. This one got a bullet hole in it. This one got blood stains on it. You know how many broken folks out there because they came in contact with Christian folks who refuse to heal? I ain't talking to non-believers, I'm talking to believers. You come across people that's got a ton of potential. You be like, oh boy, is anointed. He got all that. And you have a conversation. You're like, okay, now that wasn't bitterness. I didn't hear bitterness. No, he apostolic. That's what that is. That's what it is. He's apostolic. You know, apostolic people, they be speaking with their chest. They speak with their chest. 2 days later, you're like, I can't even lie. The child is bitter. It just women, you don't do nothing but just all of them. I mean, women, I'm not saying that about you. I'm just saying, y'all, you know how women could be. You gotta get up the phone and hang up. I hear you, Lord. This is not even fair, though. Not even fair. He close. Lord said he's more than he's more than just broken. He has no discernment. That's the reason why he ended up in the situation in the first place. Oh, don't say that out loud, Tiffany. You know better than that. Girl, I gotta talk to myself on camera. Girl, you know better than that. You know better. You would say that out loud. All these broken men and broken females out here that are anointed, gifts of God, but they can't be given away because they're broken. Because they came in contact with somebody else that was broken and anointed. And they dated you. Sister Kiki, I love you. Thank you, sis. He dated you. And now by the time they come of our way, we did the hard work of healing and stuff. You don't have no choice but to hear bitterness. Because bitterness sounds like, I'm just saying. It drags. Y'all women. Who hurt you? Which one of your exes did the most damage? Just tell me. Tell me. I'll go fight her. And tell her, girl, you did. You just completely messed that one up. Sorry. Take yourself off the dating ring. If you know you bitter and you broken, go get a therapist and stop dating. Stop looking for a man, start looking for a therapist. Stop looking for a woman, start looking for a therapist. Stop Okay, let's stop this right here. Let me put this in a ponytail. I'm gonna go out. I'm telling you right now. How y'all like that? I think that looks real cute. That's how I'm gonna go out, right? I'm gonna have it on one side. That's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have it on one side, and I should be able to pull his attention this time. He gonna notice me this time because I look like a baby. I look younger. I should be able to get his attention this time, shouldn't I? I should be able to, right? Rather than going to get yourself a therapist. Sorry, guys. Rather than saying, this is the logic that I think, this is the logic I live by. And it annoys, thank you. It annoys me when people don't live by this logic. I would much rather heal so that I can be a blessing than to look for a blessing to help me heal. I'd rather heal. I want to be a blessing to any person that I come in contact with, platonic, romantic, any relationship I have. I want to be a blessing to the people in my life. If God brought them in my life, I want to be a blessing. I don't want to come into the relationship all like, um, so I was married 2 times. I was crazy back then. You know what they did to me? You know what they did? Do do you know what it's like to be cheated on? Do you know what it's like to have? They ain't the first person that ever got cheated on. Just not. No, I would much rather heal. That way, I can have a fresh conversation with my husband and not an outdated one. Ooh, who needed to hear that? I can talk to him afresh. We could talk about the now and the future and not the yesterday. And I ain't got to be sitting up there talking, looking at him like, y'all mean. No. At the end of the day, they were broken men who came in contact with a broken woman. That's what that was. We're going to call it what it is. I can't just go around and say these men. No, honestly, if you avail. I take it too long. If you avail yourself to a broken man, you yourself are broken. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Let's take accountability. If you take accountability, then you know that you have to heal. If you don't take accountability, you remain broken and you point the fingers of blame at the other person who broke you, and then you go out there and find yourself another broken man. You just keep on doing the same old thing. You keep going in cycles and circles. You go date somebody else that's crazy, and you be telling the crazy about person about the crazy, a person who's less crazy about them. Now you sitting up there in the car with him while he driving, and you like, and you know what that dude did to me? That dude told me that he would kill me. For real. He just sitting up there thinking to himself, I'm glad they didn't find my ex-girlfriend. You don't even know it. You sit in the car with a whole killer. You sit in the car with the person who's gonna put you on a milk carton. Keep dating the same demon in a different person because you don't want to get healed. You didn't want a therapist, you wanted a wig. You didn't want a therapist, you wanted a BBL. Ooh, did I say that? Ooh. You want to go get a BBL, get your butt out there, but your brain jacked up. You didn't want a therapist. You wanted to go, I want to take the fat from my stomach. And y'all know how that stuff gonna act when you get old. That stuff may start decomposing. I want to take the fat from my stomach and put it in my booty. And I want to go out there so they can see booty meat when I walk by. I want them to see that. That way I can get their attention. When you walking by people and you get the attention that you want. And you learn that even girls with large butt can't hold on to men. It's not a thing. The butt don't keep the dude around. The butt now you can barely wipe. You got fingernails going out here, butt sitting out there. But your brain, your mind, Mine. It messed up. But you look good. Mine messed up. Up at the doctor with diaper rash. I don't know what happened. It was you couldn't wipe your butt good, ma'am. You got this BBL, and now when you turn 88 years old, now they got to do surgery because they hadn't tested the stuff. Now you're gonna be the old. You're gonna be the first test. This is beta testing for that stuff. I need you to know that. You end up on the table dying and darn near losing your life, and now you at the hospital at 88 years old. And they gotta remove because it ain't gonna look so sexy. Y'all do know we age like milk. What I'm talking about, I'm not saying as far as flesh. I think that many of us age well, but I'm saying the years go by pretty fast. BBL is a Brazilian butt lift. Is where people take the fat from their stomach. It's a surgery where people go into the Dominican Republic and stuff, and they dying out here in these streets trying to look good to get the attention of the men that they were supposed to be trying to avoid. It ain't that serious. It ain't that serious. It ain't that serious, right? Take yourself off the dating block. Take yourself off the dating menu. And let me say this. If you want to break up with victim's mentality, don't just take yourself off the dating menu. Take yourself off of a broken man's menu as well. The minute you realize that a man is broken and he's not going to be right for you, get yourself off his menu. And to the brothers, same with women. People have a tendency. This is one thing I've learned. You have guys that they typically have women on their menu, right? They'll have like 3 or 4 women that they're looking at, and they have them all on their menu or what have you. Those are not husbands. Those are broken people. Pull yourself off their menu. I'm not for you. Pull yourself off your menu. Otherwise, you're going to end up getting victimized all over again because you're allowing yourself to be there any minute, mighty mo. Catch a dumb girl by her toe. If she holler, let her go. Any minute, mighty mo. I ain't going to go there. All right. Number 6 is remove yourself from toxic situations. Number 7, take accountability. Take yourself off the dating menu. Number 8, get deliverance. You can book Apostle Ivory Hopkins. They'll post the information on here. Book Apostle Ivory Hopkins to go through deliverance. I'm still confused why I told you guys I pulled it down for now, and I'll get back around to it. I'm still confused why I still have people trying to book me for deliverance, and I'm like, I keep telling y'all, book Apostle Ivory Hopkins, book him. Book him for deliverance. He is one of the generals of deliverance. He's powerful in it, or what have you. But book Apostle Ivory Hopkins, but get deliverance, because sometimes your demons are attracted to the demons in other people. Okay, that does happen. It can happen, and it does happen. Number 9, I got one more after this. Number 9, I'm waiting them to post Apostle Ivory Hopkins information so they could, they'll post it shortly. There it is. You see the Apostle is pilgrimsministry.org. She just, Sister B just posted it. All right. Number 9, resist the temptation to share your hardships on social media. Resist the temptation to share your hardships on social media. If you find yourself in a situation or what have you, and you feel the temptation to post about it, don't. So let me tell you a little trick you can do to help you to get through that. So start to post, right? If you feel the need, like you want to post it up, start writing. I'm talking about just type everything you want to type out. And then when it comes time to post, delete it. Then if you feel the need to do it again, keep typing until it goes away. Keep typing until it goes away, because sometimes you just need to get it out. But remember, there's safety in a multitude of counselors. So you want to have wise counsel that you can talk to about that. But understand that wise counsel, sometimes you got to book them for sessions, right? You can't just utilize people for sessions. But get you a wise counsel. There's safety in a multitude of counselors, which is actually number 10. So I guess we're finalizing it there. Get yourself a multitude of counselors and be sure to honor them. But make sure that you resist the temptation to post up to social media, or to call your messy friends, your unsaved friends, your unsaved kinfolk. Because sometimes when you're hurting, sometimes when you're feeling some type of way, you feel the need to call these people. You feel the need to contact these people to say, oh, do you know what, I had Tyrone in my car and he was holding my purse. He insisted, and my wallet came up missing, and what have you. And come to find out, he stole my wallet. And you start thinking in that moment, because the enemy gets involved. The enemy puts it in your mind that, okay, you prayed about it, but what God gonna do? The enemy will try to make you feel like God can't handle that type of person. The enemy be like, okay, he in my territory. You need me. You're the same demon that tempted them to do it. What are you talking about? you start feeling the need. You start thinking about that old unsaved cousin of yours. That old unsaved cousin. Now he asks you for prayer every once in a while, but you pray for him, but you start thinking about that old cousin of yours. You start thinking about that cousin called. They call him Killer Bean. Killer Bean. You call Killer Bean up. Hey, what's up, cuz? How you doing? He like, what up, cuz? What's up with you? Where you been? Where you been? I just been relaxing. You know what I'm saying? I love you. I love you too, cuz, man. I'm trying to do the right thing. You know, I do. Got off the streets and stuff like that. I mean, it's been a struggle, but you know, your cuz doing good. That's good. I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of you. What's up, man? What's up? He noticed that there's something going on in your voice. What's up? So, cuz just try not to laugh at me, okay? Cuz it was just a dumb thing, okay? But I was dating this crackhead, and he told me he was, off the crack. He had went to jail and would have 7 months. So you thought he'd be clean, but he got out of jail, and yeah, I had him in my car. He insisted on holding my purse. I didn't think nothing about it. And when he got out the car, I knew he was in kind of a rush or whatever. Because normally when you get out the car, he'll give me a kiss. But when he got out the car, he didn't. And I saw that white powdery substance around his nose, but I just, I didn't think too much of it because he said it was something about chicken. Chicken. He was helping his mom with chicken and all that stuff. But when I went to the store and I went to pay for my stuff, when I went out to eat with a friend, and I went to pay for our food, I couldn't find my wallet. I went to check my card, everything. It was gone. It was gone. Come to find out, old boy went on a spree. I called a bank. I had 88 cents left in one bank. And yeah, he just went on a shopping spree. Man, that's messed up, cuz that's messed up. Yeah. And so I just don't know what to do right now. I'm just a little bit frustrated. The cops won't do anything. They said I don't have any evidence. They said the camera, that it wasn't clear enough. Even though I tried to positively identify him, I told them that T-shirt he had on, it had Tony the Tiger on the front of it. I bought him that T-shirt. I know that T-shirt. But they said that the camera was too blurry, and there's a lot of people that wear hats and Tony the Tiger T-shirts and stuff. And the gas station camera wasn't all that good. Yeah, but I'm almost tempted to just find somebody to kick his butt. Then your cousin realized why you calling him. He like, yeah, man, I'm saying, I mean, if you want me to, I can round the boys back up. No, I ain't gonna put you back in that lifestyle. You trying to do right. Oh, what happened? He just lost respect for you. You can't even evangelize him no more. Cause you trying to round up some people to beat up Tyrone. You trying to round up some people to beat up Tyrone. The boy beating himself up with drugs every day. Just take the lesson and move on with your life, okay? Take the lesson. Number 10 was surround yourself with a multitude of counselors, and also be sure to honor them. Be sure to honor them. Don't just, I say that because there are so many people that the Bible says your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. That means you're giving something, right? And so don't go before great men and women empty-handed with a victim's mentality, because we will avoid you like the dust, because we don't want to sit up and be your counselor every day of the week. Now, you happen to be a person that you're showing honor, people will avail themselves to you to help you, but they ain't gonna do it every day. If you don't want to remove yourself from a situation, ain't nobody gonna sit up on the phone with you every day and talk. Girl, what happened now? I went to work, and one of my neighbors said they saw Tyrone going in through my bedroom window. Girl, I told you not to date no crackhead. Yep, he stole the TV. Stole the TV. Thankfully, he was in jail for the last 25 years, so he didn't know VCRs weren't in style anymore, so he stole the VCR too. Well, he didn't get much of anything. He got the old TV and stuff. Yep. They saw him on a bicycle trying to tote that big old TV. It was one of them old TVs and stuff. He just didn't know. Thankfully, he been in jail for a long time, but we changing the locks and everything. Hey, that's the consequence. That's that thing called consequence. All right, so that's what you got to understand. Whenever you do the wrong thing, you will attract the wrong people, and you will invite in the wrong situations. Take accountability and be wiser. I'm going to let you guys go. Like I said, my goal, my assignment on today was to really come out here and to help you to understand that the victim's mentality is not going to be beneficial to you. It doesn't help you in the long haul. It makes you manipulative. It makes you sit up there, and it makes you attract predatory people. So you stay in a cycle and you remain a victim for the rest of your life. And I'm going to tell you something. Ain't nothing like seeing a 88-year-old victim standing there in the post office or somewhere else, just still whining and complaining, waiting on a social security check, going off on the mailman. I know you got my check. That man don't want that $600 check. Calling the social security. I'm just trying to, or calling the foods. I just checked my card, my stamps, and I don't. You don't want to live your life like that. Nobody's judging you. My goal is to make you better. It's to tell you that that's a common mindset. And you can come out of it, regardless of your history, regardless of the traumas that you experience. You can come out of it, or you can choose to stay there. And when you're old, you will realize you didn't get a chance to enjoy this event that we call life. You didn't travel the world. You didn't get to do anything. You got locked in a neighborhood under a Jezebelic system, and you sat there and you played the victim all your life, being offended, being hurt, and listening and watching everybody else live around you while you've created life, or you've turned your life into nothing but an open coffin. It's almost like you're dead on the face of this earth. The objective, again, Sister Felicia, thank you, God bless you, is heal, do the hard work. Don't get the BBL, get the therapist. Don't get the wig, get the therapist. And lastly, be sure to honor the wise counselors around you. Don't walk around talking about she one of the elders at my church talking about she gonna charge me for counseling. Stop thinking people owe you that. Oh God, that is a poverty mentality. It is an icky one. It is an icky one when you think a person isn't. You're entitled to a person's time just because they accepted their call to Christ. They accepted their call, so now you feel like now I don't have to pay a counselor. Girl, you know how much they charge? I ain't trying to pay the counselor. It's a girl in my church. I'm trying to get her phone number. She ain't gonna sit up on the phone with you every day for 2 hours at a time talking about your problems. No, go get a counselor. Invest. If you will always value what you invest in, let me say it that way. You will never value what you don't invest in. That's how the human brain is set up. You will never value what you don't invest in. Invest in counseling. Invest in it. And that is what it means to make a sacrifice, as opposed to being entitled and then running around here hurting people in the church, or condemning people in the church because they have the nerves to put a price on their time because they know their worth. You're so used to people taking advantage of you that you think it's okay for you to take advantage of people. That mindset is so prevalent that we have birthed a generation of people that are victims, and they walk around churches and they will hurt you. They'll kill you if you let them. They will kill you if you let them. I was trying to set up a session with the pastor. That's the pastor of the church. The pastor of the church, he's pastoring 400, 500, 600 people. They cannot set their week up to give sessions. Your pastor is there to counsel you through an event, like one time. Hey, give you some advice and you got to go practice it. Your pastor is not there to be your counselor. Oh, y'all got to hear that. Your pastor is not your personal counselor. Go get a therapist. Get a therapist. People who think their pastors are their counselors are the same ones who won't sow a seed in church and get mad when the pastor talk about sowing a seed. And if anybody sit back and say they charge for counseling sessions and they're a Christian, they're the first ones to berate them. Because they're so used to people taking advantage of them that they think they have the right to take advantage of other people in the name of Jesus. You got to stop that, guys. Anyhow, I pray that this message blessed you. I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing day. I'm going to go chill, and I'm about to go get some work done. Anyhow, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.